Well, hello everyone, and welcome in to the Six Screens tonight. Well, my name is Rick Farron, and what we do here every Saturday night, and we've been doing it for 20 years, is we expose the Watchtower organization and friends. They have to be exposed. So our mission really is to really let the world know how dangerous and how destructive the Watchtower organization is. Well, anyways, we've got a big program coming up tonight. We'll be on for a few hours, so don't go anywhere. We're glad that we do have a big audience coming in, and they've been coming in early. They've been coming in real early, and we appreciate everyone that's going to spend some time with us tonight. Thank you for wanting to do that. I mean, I'm sure you're all busy. You got 1,000 things to do, but you love to come into the Six Screens, and we love to be able to give you the latest news that's going on behind the curtains of the Watchtower. Well, anyways, we're coming to you from the apostate capital of the world, as we say. And I am not kidding when I tell you that. Right up in Boston, we are the apostate capital of the world. There's no question about it. And we have rights to bragging on that. Just a month ago, a little more than a month ago, about 6 weeks ago, we had our first convention. Maybe our last convention, but it was our first one, and we had 350 people. Now, these were ex-Jehovah's Witnesses and opposers that came to the convention up in the Boston area, and how glad we were to see that turnout, and how glad we were to meet so many people in the ex-witness world. What an amazing thing to be able to speak with people that are just like we are. And I know I keep bringing it up here on the Six Screens on Saturday night, but it was really an event that had a lot of excitement and a lot of enlightenment. We had a lot of people that were so happy to come and be with us. Now, you just stop and think about it. You know, when you're one of Jehovah's Witnesses, we all have a tendency to think, wow, my brothers and sisters in the Kingdom Hall, they're my real friends. But are they really? I mean, really, I want you to just think about it. Were they really your real friends? A friend isn't just a friend when they only love you or want to be with you, when you're doing the things that they totally approve of. Now, when you're a Jehovah's Witness and you have friends in the Kingdom Hall and you don't want to be a witness anymore, that's it. Toodaloo to you. That's not a real friend. It really, really isn't. Rather than the witnesses run the other way and shun you, a real friend would say, they'd talk to you and they'd say, what makes you feel this way, Rick? Well, why are you feeling the way you do about Jehovah's organization? They'd have a listening ear. Well, that is one of the things that keeps the people in the witness organization is, don't talk to these people. If they start talking about anything that's not loyal to Jehovah's kingdom, then by all means, shut them off. And that's exactly what happens. So the Watchtower's got a special way of cutting all your friends off. And, I'll tell you, there's so many people that have written to me and they say, Rick, I wish that some of my former friends, witnesses, relatives would speak to me. And, I know they would if they could. It's really an odd situation. I really believe our friends and relatives who are still Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't hate us. They really don't. They've been taught to hate us because of our apostasy. But deep down, they probably think, geez, I'd like to really talk to Rick again. I'd like to really talk to Susan again. I really feel they would. But the Watchtower, they're the culprit. They're saying, don't do it because they know what could happen to them if they actually even met with us and wanted to speak with us. So it's really it's a terrible game the Watchtower plays. Well, I hope you're doing good out there. I really, really do. I've been seeing a lot of things happening. We'll get into it this week. And we'll get into what happened this week. It's all over the internet. We'll get into it in a little bit. We're going to talk about, the big shooting this week, right? We know what happened this week with the Fox News reporter. We know that Charlie Kirk being assassinated has really opened up a whole new way of thinking for the witnesses. And we're going to get into that in just a little while. I want to give you my thoughts on it. Maybe you guys have some thoughts as well on what took place this week. A couple of things really that the witnesses are buzzing over, and they really think that, oh my goodness, Armageddon's right around the corner. What happened to Charlie Kirk? I'm surprised a lot of witnesses are really bringing that up. Plus, also, Russia sending drones and missiles. It was over Poland. My goodness gracious, that seemed to get the witnesses all excited too. See, Armageddon's right here. How many times can I say? Well, we'll get into that story in just a little bit. But I want to start off tonight. I got really thinking, this organization, it's nasty. I mean, you guys got better words for it, I'm sure. But I'm going to use the word nasty, wicked, rotten, scandalous, fraudulent. Yeah, we can use all of those words. The Jehovah's Witness religion is really a criminal organization, and it should be treated as a criminal enterprise. It should really be known to the world of its criminal category. Now, we know it, but, convincing others might be a little difficult. It's very hard going through life, calling a religion a criminal organization. Now, if you said that, 10 years ago, they wouldn't even talk to you. But you know something? People are starting to understand that many religions are criminal organizations. Really, that wasn't really something that people would agree with, like I say, years ago, but they do now. I mean, look at all of the fraudulent behavior taking place in the world of religion, not just the witnesses, friends. What about the Amish people? Well, they're a religion. Oh, the Amish people, right? Oh, you think you all love the Amish, yeah? Those guys are very scandalous too. They shun like crazy, just like the witnesses do. And also, some of the things that goes on behind closed doors in the Amish religion would shock you, as well as in the Mormon church, as well as in the Catholic church. I mean, is it okay to call religion a snare and a racket? Was Joseph Rutherford correct in calling it that? I think he was. I really do. I believe that Joseph Rutherford, second president of the Watchtower, was pretty correct in calling it a criminal organization. And, well, just stop and think. I get a lot of news that comes into the 6 screens every single day. I mean, numerous articles every hour that people send here to me at the 6 screens. Rick, talk about this on your news program. Share this with the audience. And I want to thank everybody that sends me news articles and YouTube clips and everything. Thank you very much for doing that. It helps me. It helps me really stay right up to date on what's going on behind the curtains of the Watchtower. But this idea of the Jehovah's Witnesses being a criminal organization, that really is quite profound. It's pretty easy to see it when you're out of it. You can't see it when you're in it, but when you're out of it, as we all are, for the most part, listening to this program, when you're out of the Jehovah's Witness religion, it's easy to see they're a criminal organization. Well, where would we start? Where would you really start calling Jehovah's Witness a criminal organization? Well, let's start with what I would say is one of the most evil, despicable practices that a human could engage in. And that, of course, would be sex with a child. It's even hard to imagine. It really, really is. Pedophilia. We know that's what they call it. But the Jehovah's Witnesses, as one man, Bill Bowen, he calls it a pedophile paradise. And it is. And, when Bill first came out with that, 20 years ago when I first started with the 6 screens, and when Bill first started talking about pedophile paradise, I thought it was a little much, like many of you probably did, because we were just at the tip of the iceberg. But look at it now. Look at it now. Almost every single day, almost every day, I get a news report coming into the 6 screens about a pedophile in the organization. And little did I know, I was attending a congregation right up here in Lowell, Massachusetts, that had 5 pedophiles. And I used to get up in the morning as a Jehovah's Witness, and I used to run. I used to try to keep in shape. I used to be in pretty good shape. And I would go and run at a park right in Lowell. And I'd run a couple of miles with this elder from Lowell. And little did I realize that he was a pedophile. He was a bona fide pedophile. He molested all of his 5 children. I didn't know it. When I'm a Jehovah's Witness, nobody talks, nobody says anything, but he was a pedophile. And I know that as a fact as I talked to one of his daughters. She told me that. And she was a friend of my daughter. And, even to this day, my wife, Susan, she got me thinking, I had 5 children with my former wife, Inez. And what it is all of my children have, issues with the Watchtower course, being raised in it. There's, I can't tell you how many are out, but a good many of them are out right now. Let's go with that. And there's something not right with my children. I'm not saying they're really bad people, but I'm just saying something isn't really making me totally happy with their lives and what's going on in their world. And I'm really wondering, and I never really thought about this. And at some point, I think I'll have to speak to my children about it. It's possible. I'm not saying it happened, but it's possible they could have been molested when they were children. I've been doing this program, like I say, for 20 years. And what I find is the more I do it, the more people call up and say, Rick, I was molested. And it really hurt me. And I'm still having these feelings today. And we have a program on here. You guys probably listened to it last Saturday night, Justice for All. We have a woman named Stephanie Carson. And she gives a story. She talked about it last week on how she was molested when she was a young girl. She was actually taken and molested by Jehovah's Witnesses. So, we were very trusting when we were Jehovah's Witnesses. And I never thought this would happen. I mean, I never knew there was pedophiles in my congregation. Like I say, there was 5 of them. And then also the other congregations I was in, there was 1 or 2 in there too. So at first, when I heard Bill Bowen talking about a pedophile paradise, I thought there was some exaggeration going on, but not really. It's safe to say, I believe, now don't hold me hostage on this, but I believe the average, average congregation for Jehovah's Witnesses, at least in this country, I can't tell you what's going on in other countries, but what I heard in this country, the average amount of pedophiles in a Jehovah's Witness congregation is 2. Friends. That's unreal. That is unreal. Now, you probably could say the same thing in other church groups too. You probably could. But, the reason why I have to put Jehovah's Witnesses, the Watchtower, under the microscope here is they claim they're the only true religion. Now, all the other religions, I never heard another. I never heard the Catholics say that. I never heard the Pope come out and say we're the only true religion in the world. Every other religion is false and corrupt. I mean, he probably thinks it, but he never said it. But the Jehovah's Witnesses say it. They say it all the time. They're the only loving, true religion on the planet. And according to their doctrine, they actually claim that Jesus came to earth in 1919, and he examined all the religions on this planet. And lo and behold, he chose the Jehovah's Witness to be the only true religion. I mean, can you believe that? So that's what I'm saying. So we have to bring them in on the carpet. And they're criminal. I mean, it's just not me sitting here bloviating, making stories up. Look up the internet. If you want to find out a lot about Jehovah's Witness pedophiles, punch in Google, punch in there Jehovah's Witness, investigate child abuse in Pennsylvania. Just punch that into the internet. You don't have to get it from me. You can get it from the internet. The internet is exposing the Jehovah's Witnesses like never before. And so it's very despicable what the Watchtower is doing. They're doing despicable crimes, just pedophilia. I'll get into a couple others here, but despicable crimes with the excuse of protecting God's name. So what I'm saying, you guys know, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but a person is a pedophile in the Jehovah's Witness organization. And so Sister Jones comes forward and says, hey, Elder Zealous just raped my daughter. She's only 13 years old. Oh, don't say a thing, Sister Jones. Don't say a thing. That'll bring reproach on Jehovah's name. We know the game, right? I mean, come on. How much can you get away with? I mean, would the court allow someone to get away with that? They'd throw the guy in prison in a heartbeat. So the world has to know Jehovah's Witnesses are a criminal organization with the excuse of using God's name and the public. Yeah, well, oh my goodness, we are out witnessing. The people love us. They visit our carts. They open the doors. They talk to us. Well, we got to make the public more aware of who the Jehovah's Witnesses are, and we got to make the governments more aware. But you know something? The governments are aware of it. In the last 4 or 5 years, they are aware of it. It's not the way it used to be. The governments never really came down on Jehovah's Witnesses like they are now. In fact, even in Norway, in the next 6 months to a year, they're going to settle that over there. Norway hates the Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, the Watchtower, not the people per se, but I'll use a lesser term here. I'll say really dislikes the Watchtower organization. And why? Because for one thing, Norway gives money. The government of Norway gives money to the Jehovah's Witnesses. Not now. They've got it in a pause right now. But the witnesses make about $1,250,000 a year is what they were making for over 20 years. So they made over $20 million from the Norwegian government. But the Norwegian government says, hold on, wait a minute. We're not going to let you be known as a religion. They declassified them. They took away their registration in Norway. They're not a known registered religion in Norway for that very reason. For shunning was the main reason, but also for hiding pedophilia. But this shunning is really what got the Norwegian government thinking. So thank you, Norway. Thank you very much for understanding the Jehovah's Witnesses got a serious problem. Okay, did you want to say something? I think it's, who's on there with us? You want to come on talk? Go ahead. Is it Grow Faith? Maybe not. Okay. I see some people coming in on the line there. But anyways, we'll have the lines open in a while when you want to talk. Now, the only reason, and you're probably saying, well, Rick, wait a minute. If the Jehovah's Witnesses are a criminal organization like you're at least suggesting they are, why isn't the world recognizing them as that? Well, having people want to join them. I mean, these are good questions, right? Well, there's a lot to be said about that. The Jehovah's Witnesses have masterfully managed a way to get around all of this, especially with their members and with the court. Religions generally are not supposed to lie. But the Jehovah's Witness religion, the Watchtower, they go into court and they lie. I mean, they lie to their members. They lie to the members. They don't tell them there's pedophiles. Even if they ask, no, we don't have pedophiles. And then, of course, the courts, they hear a good story from the Watchtower too. So, all you have to do to be a real criminal is be a good liar, right? I didn't do it. Put the blame on somebody else. I mean, that's just what the Watchtower does. But thanks to the internet, the curtain has been lifted. Now, as we mentioned, Norway There's other countries now too, because Norway is kind of taking the lead in examining the witnesses. We now have Belgium, we have Sweden, we have Slovakia. Oh, have you heard about Japan? Oh my goodness, Japan. I'll tell you what, they'd like to punch the witnesses in the nose. Japan is a very funny country, folks. That country is really run right. They don't want any goons, creeps, or hoodlums. They're looking at the witnesses as being that. They don't like the idea of Jehovah's Witness mothers and fathers flogging the kids. That really gets Japan ticked off. Japan doesn't. Nobody likes it, right? But Japan says, hey, you can't do that. You can't go hitting your kids like that. Japan doesn't like the idea of Jehovah's Witnesses discouraging education. As a matter of fact, in October, Japan is passing a law that it can't be done. Parents can't discourage education. Organizations, religions cannot discourage. It's going to be against the law in Japan. Maybe that's one of the reasons why they're now allowing education, right? We talked about that last week. So this organization deserves to be criticized and demonized. Yeah, it really does. It deserves it. We're not just making it up. It's a very sinister organization, and many witnesses right now are coming to the point that they're willing to at least peek behind the curtain. Did you know that? Did you know that many PMEs, that is physically and mentally in, loyal Jehovah's Witnesses, are starting to peek behind the curtain? I am getting so many reports coming in here to the 6 screens of people telling me that their mothers, their fathers, their sister, their cousins, they're starting to, in fact, I get some information just this week from a man that says his father, he kind of overheard his father's an elder, and he heard his father on the telephone kind of questioning that Jesus movie they made and how the Watchtower might not be totally accurate. Oh my goodness, if the Watchtower ever heard that elder say that movie's not totally accurate, he'd be disfellowshipped on the spot. But they're starting to peek behind the curtain. See, so this is a wonderful thing. And even older ones, yeah, for a while there, a few years back, I figured, well, the older ones are not going to leave. They're like, they got so much involved in so many years that they're a witness, they're not going to leave. They're just going to say, can't do it. But you know something? They are. They are starting to say, that's it. And you know what really changed? What really changed with the older ones now starting to leave the kingdom halls and saying, that's it, it's the younger ones. Now, the younger ones, many of them left too, but the younger ones that are still in the faith, so to speak, well, they're going along with, the slacks on women. They're going along with the beards on men. They're going along with all of this new doctrinal and policy change. They're going along with the check the box ministry. You don't have to report hours like you used to. We all know about that. But anyways, they're not the young ones. See, they love all this. They love the checkbox ministry. They love the beers. They love the idea of women in slacks. So there's a division. There's a feud among the older ones and the younger ones. And many older ones are saying, that's it. I've had it. This isn't the same organization I came into. This is altogether different. And many of them are leaving. Isn't that a good thing? And speaking of women with slacks, I should have really stopped. I'm kind of kicking myself. But I was driving down through the city of Lowell, Massachusetts here the other day, just a couple days ago. And I see this. At first, I didn't know what the woman was doing. But the woman had like tight slacks on too. They weren't like loose. They were tight. And I seen her, from behind, and she's pulling something. When I got close, it was a cart, a Jehovah's Witness cart. And they're moving from one spot to the other. But I would not know it was a Jehovah's Witness. I really wouldn't. I mean, they used to have this squeaky clean image. But I'm seeing this woman in tight slacks wheeling a cart around the city of Lowell. This really got me thinking. Are they losing that pristine? Is this going to hurt them? And then even I'm looking, we talked about it last week, I'm looking at dress codes for the 2026 International Convention. And I'm seeing that now they're changing the rules again. They're saying that it would be appropriate, when you attend the convention, the women should wear a dress and the men should wear a suit and a tie. Now, isn't that contrary to what their new dress policy is? So, well, what is it with the Watchtower? They come out with a new rule. Everyone starts following it, but now it looks like the Watchtower is doing a little bait and switch here. No, we might not keep up with this anymore, because I'll tell you what, one of the reasons why Jehovah's Witnesses grew as fast as they did in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s is because they look good. The package was right. They look good. The guy walking down the street, polished shoes, suit on, hair slicked back, well-groomed, no facial hair, knocks on the door. Geez, who wouldn't talk to him? His wife got a nice pretty dress on, polished shoes, hair done up. Who wouldn't talk to these people? They look nice. They don't look like a bunch of hoodlums. They look good. So who wouldn't talk to them? But anyways, the image is changing. But I'll get back to that criminal. They're a criminal organization. And if you do see a witness in a suit and a dress, don't take it to the bank and cash it and say, oh, it's wonderful, because beneath what's going on, beneath the surface, there's a lot going on. But we talked about pedophilia. It's a crime. And now we're also learning. I mean, do you know what would happen to you if you were watching kiddie porn? That's disgusting, right? You would be put in jail for that. You would be put in jail for that. But the Elders book, the newest edition of the Elders book, and by the way, if someone wants the Elders book, I've been sending a bunch out. I got a PDF file. If someone wants the Elders book, write to me, jwworldnews@gmail.com. We'll get you the book, and I'll send it to you. And in there, it talks about pornography. And their position's pretty much the same it was in the last edition, I believe the 2023 edition. Their position is that, they're not saying, no, go out and watch kiddie porn. They're not saying that. But they're saying if a brother is kind of a constant viewer of kiddie porn, he may want to be talked to. Now, they're not saying it's even going to be a total disfellowshipping offense. They don't use that word anymore anyways. They use the word removed. But even if he is a total viewer of pornography, he might get some slack cut to him. They might not make a big issue over it, but they should be, because it's a crime. So there's another crime I'll tell you about. So we got pedophilia. We got viewing kiddie porn. How about human trafficking? Did you ever believe it? I couldn't believe it. I mean, I know Johnny the Bethelite years ago would come on our broadcast. He used to come. He's a Bethelite, an active Bethelite. He used to come on our broadcast. He had his own radio program, and he talked about sex trafficking, on how witnesses would be taken as young kids and trafficked, and even older ones, and how they would, in some cases, be drugged up and sexually abused. Now, I thought those stories were a little, over the top, but I didn't disbelieve it. But I never really heard of anybody that was sexually trafficked in the Watchtower. But then all of a sudden, about, I'd say 4 months ago, a lady came onto the program. Her name was Stephanie Lynn Carson. We all know her now. She goes by Sister Willow. And she came up to the Still Alive in 2025 convention. And Stephanie talked on our program 4 months ago. She talked about how she was trafficked in the Watchtower. And, I didn't know Stephanie at the time. I just met her. And so, my ears are open. But, I'm listening to everything very cautiously and, making sure in my head that what's being said here, because I've never heard of it before, I was hoping everything being said was okay. and it seemed okay. It was a little hard to really comprehend. She was saying how she was taken to an island, Deer Island, and I think that's somewhere up around Pennsylvania, Lake Erie. I'm not sure, but there's a Deer Island in Massachusetts too, but it wasn't that one. But it was another Deer Island, just like Epstein. Remember Epstein had his own island? And he would take Jeffrey Epstein, the big-time pedophile, right? The man that supposedly died in jail, okay? So we all know he's murdered. But anyways, an island where he used to take young children, young girls, and it'd have all these big, highfalutin politicians, Hollywood stars, and big-time people come and actually molest these girls. Pedophilia. Well, this is exactly what happened with our good friend Stephanie. Yeah, Deer Island, same thing. And they bring the girls there, and there were witnesses doing it. The witnesses came now and picked her up and took her there and did it. And there was 3 other women that night that came into the program and said the same thing. We were all shocked. We were all on the edge of our seat. So let's accuse them. Let's give them the crime of sex trafficking. Let's give them that crime. All right, let's move on. How about money laundering? Does the Watchtower money launder? Well, you be the judge of that. What you think about what you think about in the last 8 months? The Watchtower setting up a financial asset firm where they would advise you on your money, advise rich Jehovah's Witnesses where to put their money. I'm going to talk about a crime here. Maybe some might not think it's a total crime, but Ireland isn't looking at the Watchtower organization as a very trustworthy or honest organization. They were selling securities. They were selling people on the idea of investing their money, mostly Jehovah's Witnesses in this case, investing their money in their asset firm. And consequently, the Irish government found out that it wasn't even, this organization did not even get certified by the Irish government. And here they are taking people's money. So the Watchtower tried to hide behind all kinds of curtains. So I'm going to put that as another crime down. You might not take it as a full crime, but let's see what happens with the investigation. So that's another crime. There's other crimes too. I'm not going to go into murder. I don't have conclusive evidence that people have been murdered. Did you want to?
Honey, they killed John.
Yeah, I won't go totally into that, but we do have hearsay, okay? I can't tell you the Watchtower murdered people. I've had a number of people tell me they know they have, but I can't go there because you'll think I'll lose my credibility. But maybe you guys are thinking, Rick, I think it happened. What would you like to say? Who is this? Yes, go ahead.
This is Mike.
Yes, Mike.
Yeah, I made a little off topic, but do you think the Mormons have had a bad week, Rick?
The Mormons having a bad week. Well, I didn't hear much about the Mormons this week. I've been focusing a lot of attention on other things. What happened this week to the Mormons?
No, the shooting that happened in Utah, the guy that did it was a Mormon.
Oh, he was. I didn't get that. I didn't hear that. Well, thank you for sharing that. Yes, he was.
Haven't you been watching it, Rick? He was raised in a Mormon family.
I wasn't watching it. I was busy working, but my wife has been watching it. But that just came across today, or what?
And then it's come out now that he was the kid that did it. Well, he's in his 20s. He was shacking up with a trans, so obviously he was a far left, radical. We live in a scary world, Rick. I don't know. You said you haven't watched it.
Well,
a lot of people were celebrating the assassination.
Yeah, I did hear about that. I don't think that was in the best thing to do for anybody. Really, that was bad. You wouldn't celebrate something like that. He's just a young man. He had a family, 2 kids, and he had a right to speak up and talk. But evidently, that right was taken away from him.
Yeah.
Well,
I saw it.
Well, the witnesses, we got a little segment on that I'm going to get to here in a while, but thank you for sharing that with us. I did not know it was a Mormon that shot him, but, well, I mean.
No, it was a man. it was a man that shot him. I'm sorry, but what I meant was that the man that shot him was having a relationship with a transgender person, a man turning into a woman. So
Yeah.
I think that's
Well, where does the where does the Mormons come in? I mean, because they're in Utah or what?
Well, yeah, no. Well, I mean, he was the shooter was raised in a Mormon family.
Oh, he was. Okay, all right. I just want to get that clear. All right, well, that's news to me. Thank you, Mike, for sharing it. Thank you. All right, Mike. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, well, we're going to get to that story here in a while. I'm going to talk about what happened to this man, Charlie Kirk. Yes.
Hey, this is Stefan. I just want to kind of go back to what you opened your program with.
Yes.
I was listening to a video that just came out today, and it was Vern, and he was doing an update on Ramapo. But what really caught my attention, he was saying that in the newspaper article, it mentioned how the neighbors around the project are now concerned about the bad reputation that the witnesses have with pedophilia. And apparently that was in the newspaper article. And it just really got me thinking, I wonder if this is a good time. I mean, you're kind of the master at this, but if there is some kind of a campaign that we could conduct in that area, will we really let those neighbors know what's really going on? Because I suspect Watchtower is going to try to counter the negative reputation, but if we could get to them and say, listen, just go online and look at this case and look at that case and look at in fact, laws that have been instituted in other countries, just like you mentioned in Europe there, one of those European countries, they lost their religious distinction for different reasons, and really let the people that live in this area know what they're going to be in for, letting these Jehovah's Witnesses build this Ramapo in that area. And then it also came out in the article, and I don't know if you knew this, that they pushed Ramapo back another 5 years. So 5 years is going to be a lot of time for those people to really think and learn about what this organization is really about. Thanks, Rick.
Well, thank you, Stefan. No, in fact, I'm going to be talking about Ramapo tonight. And I have a clip of me back in 2021. I went to the hearing they had on allowing this project to be built. And I have a clip. I have a YouTube clip of me talking to the people in Ramapo. You'll see it tonight if you stay on the news, and how I tried to speak up and tell them about the problems they have with pedophilia. And they shut me down, but you'll hear it. So we'll talk a little bit about that tonight. Maybe some of the people remembered that because there was a lot of people at that meeting. And maybe some of the people remembered. I told them, I said, are the neighbors aware of some of the issues the Watchtower is involved in? And they shut me down. And I talked to a lawyer in Ramapo, and she said that was not right what they did to you. But they had two Watchtower lawyers there at the meeting, and they were the ones that she told me shut me down. So, I didn't make a big federal case out of it, but you said they should have given you the right to talk, but I at least did get it out. You'll hear it tonight anyway, Steph. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Oh, good. Yeah. So I'll tell you what. Yes, Donnie.
Rick, hi. Hi there. Yeah, something that really confused me about Ramapo. I don't know whether you can explain it, but 2 years ago I was still a JW, and that's when they started talking about this Ramapo they were going to build and how much it was going to cost, and what was it, millions of dollars, I don't know. And I thought to myself, they're using Jehovah's Witnesses donations from around the world to pay for this thing. And I thought to myself, isn't there supposed to be some sort of vote to spend that amount of money on Ramapo? And I always thought it was really weird that they just decide they're going to spend millions on this, a television studio, whatever it is. I mean, do you think that's odd that they don't even put it up for voting, whether or not we actually want a television studio?
Well, I'll tell you, Donnie, I'm going to give you my little spin on it tonight in just probably about 10 minutes from now, but you're going to hear a mouthful here tonight. I'll tell you, I got a lot to say about it. I got a lot to say about it. So well, thank you though.
I look forward to it.
Well, thank you,
Thank
Don.
you.
Well, thank you, Donna, Donnie, for calling in. I think we got Dick. Is that you on the line, Dick?
Yeah, Rick. Yeah, I got just a couple of quick thoughts. When I was becoming a Jehovah's Witness in 1970, I was told by my Bible study conductor, who was what was known as a company servant or an elder at the time, that if anybody is doing anything that's really bad in the congregation, like committing adultery or as a drunkard, the Holy Spirit would be taken away from the congregation. The elders would sense it. They'd have an investigation. They would find the despicable person, and they would disfellowship him. So the organization was squeaky clean. That was a bold-faced lie. It's certainly not a squeaky clean organization. Any organization that hides pedophiles, does money laundering, lies all the time, turns around and tells you when Armageddon's going to come, like 16 times or something, that they were wrong. It's a very, Rick, years ago you were riding in my car, and I remember you telling me that the Jehovah's Witnesses just joined the United Nations. And I said to myself, hey, I don't know if that could be true. They said 4,000 times in their literature that if you go anywhere near the UN or pay the UN respect or anything like that, that you were messing around with the harlot, the wild beast, and so forth, and you'd be disfellowshipped. The point is that a lot of these things were so hard for me to believe the Watchtower could be involved in. Now I'm absolutely positive all the negative stuff you hear about the Watchtower is absolutely true, and probably a lot we don't even know about. They're sinister, and they are under the influence of Satan the devil. Thank you, Rick.
Well, thank you, Dick, for bringing that up, because you certainly echo the same sentiment I have about it. But the world is catching up on them, and even what Seth was just talking about in that article about Ramapo, the people now. We'll get into that with our Ramapo discussion. But thank you, Dick. All right, that's good. But anyways, I want to bring up. It's a sad thing, and I want to first of all mention that Charlie Kirk, of course, we all knew him, and he's been on Fox News numerous times, and he was a good man, a young man. He was smart. He very well could have been the next president. No, not in the next few years or so, but downstream, he could have been a real strong arm in the Republican candidacy for a president someday. But he was shot down, killed this week, as we all know. You've all heard about it. It's been all over the news. I just learned from Mike calling in. He was a Mormon. I guess they must have brought that out today. But anyways, Charlie Kirk, his assassination is really being talked about a lot in the Jehovah's Witness world. And I find that really fascinating. It really is that the witnesses are getting very outspoken, but it's not his political stance or his ideology he had in speaking conservatism. What got the witnesses talking about Charlie Kirk this week has to do with Armageddon. And this really irks me. Every single time there's some major event or problem in this country, what's brought up in the witness world? Well, it's brought up that Armageddon's right around the corner. Now, a couple of things came up. Charlie Kirk this week, as well as Russia. The witnesses feel that Russia is now going to attack Poland. It's probably not going to happen. I mean, it's kind of overrated. A couple of missiles flew over Poland, and now Russia. They're not going to do it. But we know that anything will ignite the fire of Armageddon. And this really, the witnesses have got to be really on edge. I can't believe, how can you live like that? I mean, I used to think it to some degree too, but not to the point that these guys are doing it today. This is unbelievable. Okay, Susan, did you want to say something?
No, I was just, interested in what anyone had to say about Charlie Kirk. A lot of religions are kind of nervous about any kind of I guess you would call it. They need people to watch over them so that they don't get shot. They're worried about that. They don't want anything to happen to them, and they're talking about different religion. And Jehovah's Witnesses are very vocal about what they do, and they go out and they talk. So I didn't hear anything per se that the witnesses were doing anything about it, wanting any kind of, ramped up security. But maybe others have heard about it. I don't know.
Yeah, well, of course, the witnesses, anything at all that that could spark the idea that something. First of all, it's going to be something wicked, and that was wicked with what happened to Charlie Kirk. Now they
It never happened. That's evil. It's very evil.
Oh yeah, extremely evil. But I wanted to. Yes, go ahead. But Mike, keep it to the.
I'm not mad. I'm just talking.
Okay, keep it to the business.
So you're mocking this Armageddon thing, but I think you could say that this is a sign we're living in the last days. You claim you believe in the Bible. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rick. You remember when Kennedy got shot, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you think were there people celebrating that?
No, not that I remember.
No. So I'm saying we live in this world. These people are like, I think people today are a bunch of people I don't know if they're demon possessed or what, but there's people literally. Do you know how many people have lost their job? They put out a tweet. I'm glad this piece of shit is dead. We live in a sick, evil world.
Well, I agree. I agree to that, but I don't know when the end's coming. I don't even want to get close to that. As a Christian,
right. But you can sit there and mock it. Like Armageddon. The Bible does talk about Armageddon, but you think it's I guess you think it's a joke. You claim you're holier than thou a Christian.
Well, no, wait a minute, Mike. See, now look at now you get back into you drinking tonight or what? Are you drinking tonight? Because
I'm not drinking, Rick. I worked all day. I'm not drinking. I really don't appreciate you making some attack on me like that.
Well, you just started attacking me. This is what you do. You come in nice, and then all of a sudden you turn it around that, I don't believe in Armageddon. I should because I'm a Christian. Why are you putting words in my mouth, Mike?
I didn't put words in your mouth. You're the one that started talking about.
So, Mama, you talked about Kennedy. You weren't even born when he was probably assassinated.
I know that, Rick.
So
I asked you if you were.
Yeah. So let me tell you what I was a witness back then. I was in school, but I can remember I was a Jehovah's Witness. They thought that was the end of the world. They thought.
I wasn't talking about the witnesses. I was saying the people's reactions. Rick, I'm saying there wasn't people that were celebrating. I wasn't necessarily talking about the witnesses when I said that. I'm talking about people in the world, how people reacted to this. I don't think there wasn't people celebrating a man was assassinated. We see that. I'm saying that's how bad the world is. I wasn't.
All right, okay. As long as it wasn't attacking, I just got the feeling you were attacking me because I'm a Christian. I should believe Armageddon's coming. I don't believe in Armageddon the way they do. But,
well, I know. Well, Rick, you hear more about attacking the Watchtower than so-called Christian.
Yeah.
All right. I was also going to tell you, all this crimes. I don't understand. Why don't you call the FBI? And another suggestion is, this might cost some money. Maybe you could do a fundraiser. Why didn't you? I don't know if you still could. It's been a while. Why didn't you get a private investigator and find out the whole truth about John the Bethelite? You could have if you wanted to do that. Might cost.
Well, what do you think? I'm a multimillionaire. Why would I do it? I knew who. I didn't have to investigate him. I knew who he was. You didn't know who he was, but I knew who he was. I didn't have to investigate him. He was the real deal. I'm not going to go into that tonight, but really, why?
Come on, Rick. That was a fake. Oh God.
Come on. All right.
Okay, Rick. That was all a scam.
Well, okay. Yeah. Let's see what King of Dots has to say. Go ahead, King of Dots.
You're such a peacemaker. You did such a great job. I think that's what Charlie Kirk was all about. Even though I'm a fantastic conservative, but he always bored me to death, quite frankly. But he was Catholic, and that's the thing. His wife displayed a rosary. I think there's a picture of that. I'm in the process of, I'm going to talk, my dad refuses to take one little pill a day to stay healthy. He's 93. I'm going to go to a Catholic priest in the parish. I'll go to as many priests as I want to and say, tell my goddamn dad that he's committing suicide, because they don't believe in that. Yeah, I like Charlie Kirk, but I think there's more to it. Part of his Catholicism might have been the reason people hated him. And I'm not going to say I hate Catholics, but at the same time, everybody can get to God through any religion. That's what I truly, fervently believe. And maybe you'll pick up some stupid stuff along the way. But again, all religions teach you stupid stuff. Name me one that doesn't.
Well, like I said in the beginning, Rutherford was right. Religion is a snare and a racket. I mean, that's one thing he was right on, and it is. And their religion's a snare and a racket too. All religion really is. Yes.
Yeah, playing. Don't look at us. Yeah, right. That's good sales tactic.
Well, good to hear from you.
Yeah, I'm out of here, Rick.
Hey, thank you. Always good to hear from you.
Peacemaker, buddy.
Hey, thank you. Let's go to Humor, Arizona.
Hey, Rick, this is Jesse. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, Jess.
Great comments you had. Great comments. Hey, I just have a question. It's a little bit related, but it might be off topic. It's about the witnesses. And you know how we're talking about Armageddon and all the news in Poland and Ukraine and Charlie Kirk and everything. But if you look at the social media of the Jehovah's Witnesses, they're always preaching the best life ever. And the women are getting sexier and prettier, sisters forever. I mean, it's almost turning into a propaganda, like a catwalk. And they want to promote this best life ever. Do you think they're mentally sick on social media, always taking a picture of themselves in picnic and being in paradise? I know my sister here is like that too. They're always painting this rosy picture of the world. Could they be in denial, or do you think maybe there's a mental disconnect, or are they so ignorant of the things around them that they want to live in some kind of Freudian nirvana paradise now? So that's what I see, what they're painting every day on social media, thousands and thousands of pages. They're trying to paint an illusion that they're living in a spiritual paradise. And I think it comes across that they're kind of mentally in denial of the world we live in.
Well, maybe Dick has an idea. Dick, what do you think? What do you think, Dick? What do you think about the witnesses? Are they in denial, or what's going on with them painting all these beautiful pictures on social media?
They certainly are. They've been hoodwinked. But I do want to mention something about Mike, who was just on a few minutes ago. Sounds to me like he's full of hate. And then for him to even suggest that you should reach into your pocketbook or your wallet and pay for a private eye to find out what happened to Johnny the Bethelite is ludicrous. Because what the audience doesn't know, that I know, is you dropped over $20,000 of your money into Stay Alive 25, that convention. And for him to come on and act rude to you, in my opinion, it's disgusting. Thank you, Rick.
Well,
amen. Hallelujah. Great comment.
Well, there you go. So anyways,
I don't think I'm disgusting. Do you think am I a disgusting person, Rick? What do you think?
well, in other words, I might not say totally disgusting, but
I brought up about those private.
But
let me have a story about Johnny the Best Life.
All right.
That would be just one way you could find out if it's real or not. I don't.
Mike, let me have a crack at that answer. Let me have a crack at your question. No, but you know what? You might be a great person. You might be a beautiful person. I don't know you. So, but in the business of radio, all us ex-Jehovah's Witness, you do come across angry and belligerent, and you don't make the host look good. You don't elevate our show. In that sense,
I don't need to elevate anything. This isn't. I mean, there can't even be that. This isn't a radio show. There's not that many people listening to it.
But you do sound like an angry son of a gun. You do sound like a crazy old angry person.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You sound like the assassin. You sound like the assassin's Man, you're an angry. You're an angry. God help you. I'll see you later.
I'm angry at the assassin. I wouldn't do what he did. He's evil. I hope they.
Well-
I hope he gets the death penalty.
Well, let's get back, Mike, to, it's at times, see, this is why, you and I, like, we talk to each other. I'm not ready to jump out of the box here and punch in the nose, but the times you come on, you're so nice. I don't get it. And you're very knowledgeable. Geez, you're very knowledgeable. You know all about the witnesses, you know about the Bible students. And
Well, I've had a rough week, Rick. I was pretty upset about Charlie Kirk getting shot. I got to tell you that.
all right, no, we all were, and yeah, we all were upset about it. But I like the Mike that's kind and gentle, and because there is a Mike there, there is that way. That's how I like you the best.
No, I don't. No, if somebody calls me that, I don't care if he wants. It doesn't matter. I honestly, I think it's funny. I mean, that. It doesn't
I'll
really
let it go
matter.
with it. But you got me thinking. I'm glad you.
I'll never meet you people. You can think, I don't care what you think about me. It really doesn't
Well,
matter.
I was hoping you could have made it up to the Still Alive convention.
Oh, I have to work, Rick.
Yeah,
That
well,
would have been nice.
yeah. But anyways, I would like to say you got me thinking about Kennedy tonight, and that's
Well, the reason I said that, Rick, when I brought that up, I just wanted to say that's how much the world has changed. When Kennedy got shot, there wasn't, I'm sure people didn't vote for him. People didn't, everybody thought it was a bad thing. I mean, he was a bigger name than this Charlie Kirk, but there's people literally, Rick, go look it up. I'm not making this up. There's people they were celebrating, and this man is dead on TikTok and all this.
Oh yeah, no. Well, my wife, so Susan's been telling me that. I haven't seen any TV all week, to be honest with you, but she's been telling me, and it's a shame. It's a shame they do that. Really.
Some people are saying this is the first shot in the second American Civil War. I don't know if it's going to be that bad, but don't be surprised if there's not more violence after this.
Right. But see, now the other thing I just want to ask, I'm not going to make this a political show because I don't want to go there with it. But I mean, I know that you're a firm conservative Trumpster, and that's fine. I love President Trump too. But, let's just say if someone in the Democratic Party, well, let's just say if something happened to Nancy Pelosi, I mean, something bad. I hope it doesn't, but if something happened to her, would you do a little dance or what?
Well, no, I wouldn't, Rick.
No,
I
but
wouldn't.
I'm just trying to see if you're keeping things balanced here. I'm just seeing if you're keeping things
Well,
balanced.
right, but that's, if you notice, Rick, all the violence is always on the politics. Political violence always comes from the left, generally.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, we won't get too political in this now. But anyways, let me just talk about Kennedy, because you got me thinking about him. And even back then, I think I was in the 7th grade. Yeah. So 7th, I would have been probably about 12, 13 years old. But I can remember that. And I can tell you that even the witnesses back then thought the end was coming. And then anything that would happen, especially with earthquakes, geez, every time we had an earthquake, Armageddon's coming. And then, of course, even in the last 10 years here, it's been nothing but a hype session for Armageddon. Think about, let's just talk about, let's just go back to the Twin Towers. Let me tell you about that. All right, because we all can talk about that. Do you remember, Mike, where you were when the Twin Towers were?
I remember when it happened.
How old were you?
Yep.
Yeah, probably young.
I was 20.
All right, but you probably remember right where you were when it happened. Everybody did, But that back then, that was probably the biggest event in my witness career, and even up till now, where the witnesses really thought that was it. The Armageddon's here. That's it's over. Forget about this. This system's cooked. And I can remember. Let me just bring you up to speed here, and I'll tell you a little bit of what happened that day, because all of you out there, you probably can remember where you were, what were you doing. Major events like that, it sticks in your mind. It creates a position that is never lost in the imagery of your mind. But just to give you an idea, I was out loading the car up, ready to go to work. And my former wife yelled out the window, "Hey, Rick, something's going on in New York City." And I don't know if it's for real or what. It looks like a plane hit a building. So I said, "Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm watching a commercial." She said, "Come see it." So I went inside, and sure enough, the newscast, and then another plane hit the other building, and it was real. It was really, really real, and it really was frightening. And now this is I got to tell you this. I got to tell you what happened. The witnesses had to be. They were working in my neighborhood, and I was still a staunch witness at the time. So they were in the neighborhood knocking on doors, and one of my neighbors told them that the Twin Towers were just hit by an airplane. So they wanted to see it. So they came knocking on my door. "Hey, Brother Farrington, can we come in?" So the whole group came in. We had probably a dozen people in my living room, all watching on TV, the planes and the newscasters. And for the most part, it was a sad day. I'm not going to mention this sister's name, but I'll tell you what, it really, even me being a witness at the time, it shocked me. She was in glee. She was in glee to see those towers hit. And I'm sitting there, I couldn't even talk. I'm thinking, look at these poor people. They're covered with dust. What's going to happen? How many people even died? 20,000, 50,000? Nobody even knew. So this sister, she comes in and she's holding a magazine in her hand. Now, let me show you the magazine. This is going to shock you guys. Let me show you the magazine. It's right there. See that magazine right there? That's an Awake magazine. That is the June 2011 Awake magazine. Does that strike you funny? I mean, it strikes me funny. I mean, I don't want to get into Fritz Springmeier and Jimmy Bell here tonight, but I mean, something's awful odd about that. So they come out with a mag. Now look at that picture. That picture actually looks like the rubble from the Twin Towers. And there it is right on the front cover of the Awake magazine. So I'm saying that is weird. So this woman, well, I'll go with it. I'll say it. Sister Carrie. Sister Carrie. She was a Nazi woman, a Nazi witness woman. And boy, she was as loyal as the day was long. I mean, she divorced her husband, or he divorced her. They separated, whatever you want to call it. They didn't want to be with each other. She didn't want to be with him because he was getting ready to retire. He wanted to go travel around. He worked hard all his life. She says, "No, I can't. I got Bible studies. I got meetings. I can't go." So she went out. She lives somewhere. They got divorced. Let's go with that. So anyways, she comes in with that magazine and she says, "Rick, we are going to get so many people to become Jehovah's Witnesses. It's not going to be like normal. We're going to get so many people be witnesses. This is really going to get many people to understand Armageddon is right around the corner." This is what she's talking about. She's so gleeful about the whole thing. And I'm sitting there, my heart's on the floor. I'm looking at the whole country of America, just what happened in this short period of time. The world almost changed. In fact, it did change because of that. And she's sitting there, "Oh, this is wonderful. I hope we get enough copies so that we can get out and do more work with this magazine." I'd like to know how the witness world came out with this article, a few months before September 11th. That was in June. That article you're looking at right there, that magazine, Awake magazine, June 2011. That is something else. That is something else. Okay, so let me get that picture off of there. But I wanted to bring that to your attention. I thought that was something else. Now, let me tell you what I did. I mean, I subscribed at the time to the New York Times. I used to read the newspaper, if you can believe that. No, nobody reads newspapers today, but I used to read the newspaper. And in the New York Times, a couple days later, they showed a bunch of ministers. They were Protestant ministers. They set a table up down by where the buildings went down, and they had refreshments. They had water. They were handing it out to the rescue people, all the firemen and the policemen. They were handing out all kinds of nice little goodies for them. They were working so hard. And I thought that was really something. It was a nice big spread in the New York Times. I didn't read anything about the Jehovah's Witnesses. So I called because I was concerned. I wanted to make sure that the organization that I belonged to and held my hat on that organization, I wanted to make sure that they were going to help like these other Christian ministries were doing. So I called up the Watchtower, and they put me in touch with a man who seemed to know something. He said he was a lawyer for the Watchtower. I don't know why they put me in touch with him, but I said, brother, I just want to call up. I'm very concerned. I see you're only like a mile away, not even that, from the trade centers. And I'm saying now, I asked him, well, what is the organization going to do to help the people that are in New York City that have been devastated because of this terrorist attack? So he says, well, Brother Farron, you can be rest assured. He says, we're printing more of that magazine I just showed you, this one. He says, we're printing more of this Awake magazine, and we're going to send 12 elders down to New York City. I think he said the next day or the following day or whatever, with these magazines, and we're going to help them spiritually. We're going to let them know that they are living in the last days. So that's what got me thinking. I wanted to bring that up tonight. So Charlie Kirk getting killed spiked this level of Armageddon coming. The missiles flying over Poland spiked it too. Everything spikes Armageddon coming. So I wanted to bring that to your attention tonight. I thought you might have found that really fascinating. But, I'll tell you what, the witnesses have always been wrong. They're always looking for these signs. COVID was another one, right? How many people said during COVID, that's it. This pandemic, that's it. Spoken of in the Bible, it's coming. Armageddon's right around the corner. So it's actually becoming, I think it's like a fun thing. It's becoming very fun for Jehovah's Witnesses to predict when Armageddon's coming. And now that the new Flock book says that you can do light gambling as long as you're not obsessed, they say the Flock book now says you can do light. You can buy a lotto ticket. Yeah, they're not saying before you could be disfellowshipped for that. But the Flock book, the new 2025 Flock book says, hey, you can do light gambling. You want to buy a lotto ticket? Buy a lotto ticket. And hey, maybe the witnesses should start betting. Is Armageddon coming? When's it coming? Let's put a date on it. So, they're all good at predicting Armageddon. It seems to be something fun for them. So you might as well start betting on it. So it's really amazing to me that they're saying all of this. You would think some of these old timers would say enough is enough. I've been hearing this for years. When it comes, it comes. And isn't it something that the Watchtowers always told us to? Don't be so quick to predict a date. And even the governing body in the last few years, they come out and say, well, they're not inspired by God. I mean, we can't predict things. So, why are the witnesses still holding fast to this? Oh, there must be something. It's coming. Well, we all know it. I don't have to tell you, all know it. Hey, let's talk about Ramapo. Does anyone want to talk a little bit about what we just talked about before we move on to Ramapo? The lines are open. Hit *6 if you want to speak up. Yeah, we'll move on to Ramapo. This Ramapo thing, it's got a lot of people talking. Even me, I'll tell you. Yes.
Yeah, Thomas Hodgson here in Lawrence, Kansas. Yeah, I just really wonder in my mind if that might be some sort of a scandal to just get people to give up their money a bunch, and then, I guess we're going to table that idea. It looks like the economy's not that good. It just doesn't seem like Jehovah wants us to do it, or blah, blah, blah. I mean, I don't know. It's just a thought. It makes you kind of wonder, doesn't it?
Well, it does, but, I'll tell you what, I've been very close to this Ramapo thing from the very beginning. I'm going to play a while of video. I went online. There was a Zoom meeting online for anybody that wanted to speak up, voice their opinion on the Ramapo project, that big audio video studio they're putting up there in New York. And they had the lines open on video. I sent a week or so ahead of time. I got a seat on their Zoom meeting. Excuse me. And they were going to come in and they were going to ask me what I thought about it. Because whenever you're going to build a building or do anything, You have a town meeting, the people talk, and even outsiders can talk. So I called in from Massachusetts and they brought me on. I'll show you the clip. You'll see the clip. But I was very curious to, do the witnesses, they're going to build this, but do the neighbors, I should say, do the neighbors know what the witnesses are hiding behind? Do the neighbors know they've been accused of pedophilia? And there's many, many states and even countries that are aware of this. And I had all my proof. I had everything there because I thought I was going to get to talk. They told me I was going to get to talk. I come in and you'll hear what happens to me. But anyways, just to give people an idea so that people understand what Ramapo is. A lot of people might not even know what Ramapo is. Friends, Ramapo is a town in Orange County, New York. Now, it's right up there by Warwick. It's not too far from Wallkill. The Watchtower owns land up in that area. The Watchtower, back in 2009, bought a large parcel of land, over 250,000 acres. And they bought it not really thinking too much about it. Maybe like most of us do, right? We buy things and we say, why do we buy that? We don't need it. But anyways, they bought this big monstrous parcel of land and they bought it. And then I'll tell you what, I did research on it. Some of the Watchtower officials said, geez, why did we buy this in the first place? We shouldn't have. We don't need it. Maybe they were pretty sensible about it. But some diehard officials of the Watchtower said, no, let's keep it. So they kept the land. And then they decided that they got to do something with it. So they began construction, I should say, on this 1.5 million square foot facility on 250 acres in Ramapo, New York. And anyways, they said that they're gonna create a audio video studio where they're gonna produce movies, videos that the witnesses will be able to watch, and people from around the world can get on jw.org and they can watch the witness videos. As though there's not anything else to watch. I mean, are people going to watch a witness video? I don't know about that. But this center, I'm just going to give you an idea. Now, they didn't officially come out. The Watchtower did not officially come out and say how much they were going to spend for this project. But it was going to be massive amounts of money. So anyways, the amount of money that I got inside information that came in here, and I believe it's true because I ran some numbers. I looked up some construction costs. I looked up how much would it cost a building that big. Let me tell you something. That building that they were going to put on that site was going to be close to $500 million. That would be 500 million. That would be close to 500 million. Now, maybe they could have done it for 300 million, but still it's a big chunk of change. I mean, that's not chump change. That's a lot of money. So anyways, they get this in their head that they're going to put this audio video studio up there in Ramapo. And, they're going to do wonders with it. It's going to be, well, let me put it this way. Let me tell you some of the stuff. There's going to be like 1,000 people that would work and live at this audio video center. And that would include residences, offices, a fitness area, a visitor center for the public. And it goes on and on. They're going to have a self-generating green system where somehow they were going to use sun energy, solar energy to generate a good portion of it. So the town kind of like that. Well, I'm going to play with video. Let me play with video. I want you to see, I was at the meeting because I objected. I say, well, wait a minute, Rick Farron, what do you mean? He's objecting? He lives in Massachusetts. How can he object to something going on in Ramapo, New York? Well, I says, I'm going to go in and object to it, which I did. So they said I could come on and do it. I got permission. I gave them my email. I was going to come in on a Zoom meeting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a portion of it. So I figured there'd be a whole lot of other ex-witnesses too that would want to come on and do the same thing. So I was the first one out of the booth. they call my name first to come on and give my feelings of it. So let's play the file here. Let me just share the screen. Let me just go to my file here and see what it is. Ramapo update. Okay, right there. Okay, is that its theme? Okay, no. Can you remind me? A world sound. Okay, planning board hearing. This is it right here. Now listen in, and you'll hear they call on me. They say, "Okay, let's open our meeting up now," and I'm the first. You'll hear them. Here we go, right here. Let's play it. Let me get the sound working here. Hold on one second.
Public comment. We have 4 people that did register in advance, so we'll call those in order, and then we'll open it up to the public that are here. First person that I'll ask if they wish to speak is Rick Huron.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I wanted to come in here tonight. I am from the neighboring state of Massachusetts, and I love the area you folks have up there. It's beautiful. I've been up there a number of times. And
This meeting is being recorded. This is very good. If we could just unmute Mr. Huron.
okay, I'll do that now.
Or I think you might have to unmute himself.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Well, I'm coming in here tonight. I want to let you know I'm coming in from the neighboring state of Massachusetts, and I'm so glad to be able to speak up on your forum tonight. And I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to the people of Orange County and Ramapo, and as well as Rockland County. I'm here tonight not to talk about the environmental impact. I know you folks got that down pat. You've got engineers studying it. But I'm here tonight in an effort to alert the neighbors of the Watchtower proposed complex. I want the neighbors to be do they really know who the Jehovah's Witnesses are?
Mr. Supervisor, I'm going to object to that kind of input. We are here for a DEIS and for comments on the DEIS.
Sir, I'm concerned. I'm concerned about the neighbors. You have some.
Hold on a moment, Mr. Huron. I'm going to ask our attorney, Mr. Lithgow, to weigh in. I believe I would tend to agree with Mr. Manuel, but we will be guided by your advice to us.
I agree that this is not part of the environmental impact hearing. This is information which is Mr. Huron's perspective on the Watchtower folks, and it's not something that's within the subject of this hearing.
I just
Thank you, Mr. Lithgow. Mr. Huron and anyone else who wishes to speak on a similar subject, you're very welcome to speak on the issues that are before us tonight. But as our attorney has said, anything about the nature of Watchtower or their beliefs or their practices would be inappropriate for this forum. It's not what's before us. It's not something that we have any legitimate governmental concern over. I believe, I remember from law school, it was 20 years ago, but if I remember correctly, the religious organizations' theology and beliefs and practices are not appropriate for government scrutiny. We can make a decision based upon whether we like or don't like or agree or don't agree with a particular religious philosophy or practice by any group. And again, I'll ask our attorney, Mr. Lithgow, if I'm stating the law correctly on that.
You are correct, Supervisor, and it goes.
Yeah, let's stop it right there. Yeah. All right, stop it right there. So you get the idea. They shut me down, but that was me back in May of 2021. And I thought there'd be other ex-witnesses as well that would be calling in. There was one right after me that came in. He tried to get a word in edgewise too, and they wouldn't let him do it. But what I wanted to say here is, see, that I was upset with that. I was told I could speak up. When I went in there, they wouldn't let me talk about it. No, just stay to the environmental issues. They wanted to talk about the impact on the road. They wanted to talk about the water system, parking, and all of that. So I wanted to just voice my concerns so the neighbors know what the Jehovah's Witnesses are hiding behind. Oh, no, we can't do that. So I was upset. The next day, there was 2 Watchtower lawyers in that meeting, by the way. So the next day, I called the town of Ramapo And I told him what happened to me. I talked to, either a lawyer. She didn't identify herself. She was either a lawyer or she was the lawyer's secretary, whoever she was. But it was the legal department in Ramapo, New York. So I talked to this woman and I told her what happened to me in the meeting last night. She said, that wasn't right. You had the right to speak up and talk. I says, well, I was shut down. She says, by who? So I could see in that Zoom meeting the two Watchtower lawyers. I think it was from the lawyers from Watchtower. And so she mentioned that wasn't the way it's supposed to be done. So, they put the kibosh to that. You see how the Watchtower is, though? And they're supposed to be a Christian organization. They're supposed to be following the letter of the law. But do they? Do they really? So anyways, I couldn't get my 2 cents worth in. But then another ex-witness man right after that, he came on and they shut him down too. They didn't want to hear a thing. But now what I'm hearing, let's just play something here. I want you to listen to this. Let's go over here. Let me get up another. Just on the news in the last couple of days, there's a big problem up in Ramapo with this building. It's creating all kinds of traffic problem. We'll get into that after I play the video. But I want to play this video so you'll see what I'm talking about. I just got this in the last couple of days here. So let's share the screen. Let's watch this other video. What's going on up in Ramapo update? This is the Ramapo update. This is in the news. Let me see if I got that here. Okay, theme song. World Without Love. Okay, encouraging reminder that they are. It's just give me a second here, folks. Let's do this. Let me see if I can get it this way. Let me just give me a second here and see if I can't find the right clip. I got a bunch of things going on here tonight, but there was one other clip that was made here that I think you found very, very fascinating. Just give me time to find it here. And it was on a news station, a local news station up there in Ramapo. And what was of interest is the fact that the news media up there was reporting on massive traffic jams that had taken place in that Ramapo area because the construction supposedly for the site of the building, the video building, is they were trying to get pipes under the ground and they were hitting solid rock and they really couldn't get through the ground. Let me just see if I can't get this. If not, I'll just tell you about it. Just give me a second. Why that went off on me, I don't know, but we'll give it a shot here. And we'll see. Okay, that's not it. Okay. Well, let me just tell you what happened. It was on the news media today, and actually 2 days ago up in Ramapo, and they were talking about the traffic jams that are taking place right around Ramapo, where that building is supposedly being built. Now they seem to be going ahead with it to some degree, but it's like funny what they're doing. They're saying now that the reason why there's traffic jams is they're trying to get through the rock to put the pipes and necessary underground cables along the street. And what's happening is solid rock, so they can't bust through it. So the news are reporting on the fact that the neighbors up in Ramapo are so upset because this has been going on for a long time. And when they call the Watchtower officials said that it's going to be a while and there's still going to be these massive traffic jams because they can't break through the rock to put the cable in. Now, a lot of conspiracy is floating around. It appears like the Watchtower really wants to, put this building into place. But, I'm really thinking to keep moving it up. Now, when I went to that meeting in 2021, it was supposed to be built. The whole project was supposed to be built by 2026. Next year, a year from now, it was supposed to be built. But now I'm thinking the Watchtower must be dragging their feet on coming up with all kinds of excuses. Maybe, the fact that we can't get through the ground to put the cable in. And I'm thinking there's a lot of reasons why this thing has been on delay. And just two comes to mind. A lot of witnesses right now, construction men, they're leaving. They don't have the volunteer base. They don't have the slaves to go to work for them that they had at one time. So I think that could really affect them as well. So now they're counting the cost. They're calculating, wow, if we have to hire all these outside contractors, it's just going to be immense. It's going to be so darn expensive to bring these people in. So that could be one reason. Then the other thing, friends, I have to tell you, are you familiar with AI, artificial intelligence? Do you know movie studios now delaying plans as well to build their new movie studios because of AI? They're not going to need everything they did before. I mean, did you ever visit a movie? Did you ever visit a movie studio? I know years ago I went out to the Disney studios in California, and I'll tell you, they had building after building filled with props, and you had to have a prop. Okay, you had an office scene, you had to have a desk, you had to have a chair, you had to have some cabinets and file cabinets and what have you. You had to have all that to film a movie. Today with AI, you don't need it. You want, what do you want, a desk? What kind of desk you want? Boom, it's automatically there. Oh, you need an actor? What do you want, an actor that looks like Tom Cruise? Oh, there he is. We got him. I mean, that's what you can do with AI. So the Watchtower is probably thinking, my goodness, we're building this massive 500 million perhaps studio. Do we need it? Maybe some of the powers that be is saying, hey, scrap the idea. So, all kinds of thoughts are being said about it, but they want to keep the witnesses' momentum up. They want to keep suggesting Ramapo, give us the money, because it's a money raise, it's a fundraiser. It makes money for the Watchtower. So whether it's ever going to be built or not is anybody's guess, but they're still asking for donations. They're still asking for donations. And just to back up this idea of movie studios, there's an article I read in USA Today. Tyler Perry, a movie producing person, is halting an $800 million expansion to his movie studio because of open AI. So, the Watchtower is probably being faced with that thought as well. So I wanted to bring that up tonight because I'm thinking they don't want to just say we're scrapping the whole idea. And they don't want to say, well, maybe we're going to do something different with it. Some people have written to me and said, Rick, maybe they're going to build, homes for the mucky mucks. Maybe some of the people who have been involved in the Watchtower, some of the officials for many years, maybe they're going to give them a retirement home. And, they don't want the general public to really be totally aware of that. So let's call it a movie studio. But something doesn't pass the smell test up there. Something does not pass the smell test. And then also, the neighbors, according to another video, they're suggesting that some of them are uptight as of late because they're hearing about the Jehovah's Witnesses covering up child molestation. So what do you think of that? What do you think of that? And maybe some of those people going way back to 2021 when I spoke up at that meeting, because there was thousands of people online, because a lot of them are really, they don't like the idea of that cult being in their neighborhood, but they wouldn't let me speak. But maybe they're saying now, geez, maybe that Mr. Farron, he was trying to alert us, but the town shut him down. But, that's what they do. The Watchtower puts the kibosh on things that could ruin Jehovah's kingdom. What do you guys think about that? Isn't that something else? I'll tell you what, it's really sad. The Watchtower gets away with all of this, but they do. Anyone have a thought on that? Go ahead. You're on with us. You're on.
I thought, as soon as I heard about that, I thought about you, and I thought about the fact of how when you got ready to speak, they just completely shut you down. I mean, it's, Watchtower is just like any other corporation with money. They throw their money around, throw their weight around, buy whatever it is that they want, shut down anybody that's in opposition. And unfortunately, it's going to be these people, if they pull this thing off, that are going to suffer, because they're going to be the ones that live at Watchtower. And it's really interesting. Like I said, in Vern's video, he pushed the opening of Ramapo back, according to a news article, for another 5 years. at 2030. So I suspect those neighbors are really, in the next 5 years, going to learn a lot, and maybe we can figure out some kind of way to kind of target that area and maybe, hold our signs up or do whatever so that they can really see that this pedophilia is a major problem with Watchtower, and you guys are bringing the Watchtower headquarters right here, or the media center rather, right here in your own town, so that they know, because maybe had they known that, things would have gone differently. Thanks, Rick.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your comments on that. I have to tell you that also the information I got as well did say that the witnesses are putting it off to the year 3030. That's the information I got as well. So that is a fact that it's going to take another 5 years to build it. So, it could be a fundraiser, Seth. I mean, let's see.
Yeah.
It could be
and that kind of goes in with this business of A, you can now go to college, and B, Armageddon isn't right around the corner. Because if Armageddon is right around the corner, why would you be, not only rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic, but building a whole nother Titanic? Why would you do that if you knew that Armageddon was right around the corner? Now they're even talking about this thing getting pushed back another 5 years. So, at the end of the day, Watchtower is a fraud. They have sold everybody a bill of goods with this. Oh, it's right around the corner. Stephen Lett's famous words is when the last minute of the last hour of the last day of the last days. And now all of a sudden it's, don't focus on the last days. It may not happen in your lifetime. And then they're getting involved in building projects that are a decade out and all the rest of this. So they're just exposing themselves to be a fraud, and hopefully people just keep leaving.
Well, that seems to be the case. And I have to tell you that not only the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses following this story, but of course up there, the neighbors are following it. And now also many Jehovah's Witnesses are starting to question it. They really are. It's been questioned right from the very beginning. Many Jehovah's Witnesses were saying, hey, do we really need this? Do we really need to spend the money like this? I mean, Armageddon's going to be here soon. So even they're questioning it. So it's a real boondoggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, a real boondoggle. Yep.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I heard at the very beginning of the week, there was a brother, and he's in Europe someplace, and he was talking about how the witnesses on social media in that part of the world were questioning why they can't even get magazines. Like they're going to the Kingdom Hall, and there are 0 magazines that are being sent from Bethel, and they're questioning what's going on. Why is it that we don't even have, any literature? Now you put that with, but we've got $500 million to spend on some media center out there in the United States. So I'm glad that hopefully people are starting to question this. And the thing that I really enjoy is the amount of videos that are coming out exposing Watchtower that are not from former Jehovah's Witnesses. These are just people who study cults and study high control groups and all the rest of this. And they are doing videos and they're killing it. And I think that's so great and so powerful, because it's one thing for Watchtower to say, oh, don't listen to those horrible apostates. They just want to lie. But these are people who have never been witnesses, and they're saying the same thing that we are saying, and they're bringing their receipts, as well. And so hopefully with all these efforts combined, people can really see Watchtower for what they are.
Oh, Stephanie.
Hey, you know what?
Go ahead. Yeah, who's on with us? Go ahead. We got.
It's Marty here.
Oh, yeah, Marty.
This is Marty. Good.
Yeah, Marty. Yep.
How you doing?
Good.
Now that I got back out into the world, okay, so to speak, since 1990, I realized that Jehovah's Witness girls are not that good looking.
You don't think so? I mean, why were they good looking why were they good looking when you were in the truth?
When we came in when we were 18 and stuff, and we were like, oh, look at all these women dressed in these beautiful clothes, and they're looking at their dresses, and it was kind of enchanting. But I'll tell you, after you really get into it, you go through it, and then you come back out and you see all the beautiful women that are out here in the real world. Oh my gosh, it doesn't even come close. They got no brains, and then there's no brains.
Well, I mean, so that's the only thing you noticed when you went to the world?
Well, no, but there are brains, but they're not all of them. And then you know what? It might be changing a little bit. I don't know what kind of girls are coming in there, but I think there's less and less young people coming in anyway. You're going to end up with a bunch of older people just waiting for the end. And now this thing about writing about that may not even, or don't be disappointed because it won't come in your lifetime kind of thing. It's wow.
Well, Marty,
I couldn't believe.
well, Marty, now how long have you been out?
So I called you a couple times. I don't call that often, but I came out in 1990.
Wow.
And, you know, the witnesses carry a lot more arrogance than it's worth, really, for what most of them can do and all that. I mean, it's, you know, most of them are really depleted in their skills because of the fact that they were witnesses all those years. I spent 10 years in there, you know, so I lost some time too, but I'm fulfilling my life now the way I want to. But, you know, yeah, it's, you get in there and you might be kind of 18 or 19 and you're coming out of this, you know, we were in kind of a rough world at that time period. It was about 80 is when I was baptized. It was a weird time period. And I was just turning 20. I was doing a lot of traveling. And when I was invited to the Kingdom Hall after studying for a little while, I sat down in there and everything was really impressive. All the people were all well dressed and they were answering this certain way. And I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. Then I thought about it and little by little, I was thinking, well, maybe these Watchtower could be right, you know, and all this kind of thing. But it sucks you in little by little. And next thing you know, you're just involved and you don't even really necessarily want to be or whatever, but you are.
Well, Marty, my goodness. So I'm glad you wiggled your way loose and you're out of it now. But you certainly. Where were you from, Marty?
So I'm in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, Cleveland, Ohio.
You know.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of people from Ohio.
I came from Ohio, Marty. Oh, how cool! Yeah. Who is this now? This is Hawaiian brother. Oh, okay. It's very cool. I spoke at the convention. Oh, nice. Yeah, I heard about the convention. So 300 bodies showed up?
Yeah,
that's what Rick said.
Yeah, we actually
had, that's pretty good.
We had 350. It really, in fact, I was so glad we got that because that was one of my biggest fears. Maybe we wouldn't get them to show up, but we had 350 people. Now they were all running in at the same time. A lot of them were a lot of them were talking to people's table. Yeah, but we had them there. Yeah.
Yeah, and we would have had we would have had a heck of a lot more, but the freaky weather that occurred,
I didn't know what the weather was for you guys, but that might almost be a little better than I expected. You know, you're talking about getting people to pick up and travel. It's hard today, you know, but
sure,
you get that kind of a turnout, then you're making some headway, you know.
Well, Marty,
I can't wait till next year's, Marty.
Yeah. Oh, there's going to be another one?
I don't know. Rick will decide that. I don't know.
You guys got to count your finances.
Well, what was good, Marty? Now I'll tell you what really surprised me. I didn't realize it, but there was a lady there. She was a Korean woman, but she came all the way from Australia. And then lo and behold, I saw two other women there. One was an older woman, and she had a younger woman with her. It was a mother and daughter. They came from Sweden, all the way from Sweden. And then we had another man there, John Vinny. Well, he came all the way from England, from Wales. Yeah, unreal.
Well, you're snagging at the rich ones then.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. And we had Dean. Dean. Well, Dean, I'll tell you what, we're so glad to have Dean there. He was the star of the show. Boy, he
well, it looked pretty good. I was watching some of it. You know, it looked pretty entertaining and stuff. It was the audio was a little hard to hear on the music. You know.
Yeah, the music. Well, what it is we had so many open mics, but we made sure that the speeches were good. Yeah. So it worked out good.
For us. No, just for the YouTube, but you know that's okay. I mean, we get it, but I totally get it. I mean, it's just that's all. But other than that, it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was. Man, you actually did it. The great thing is that you said you were going to do it, you started it, and you finished it. That's big stuff, you know.
Yeah. Well, what happened is I got a little nervous a week or so before I got very, very nervous because I had all these people. They wrote me for tickets, sent the tickets out, and I had everyone write, Rick, I can't afford it now, or I lost my job, or well, whatever they said. But, it's expensive. Like you said, you want to pack up, get on a plane, get a hotel room. These are hotel rooms alone at the Hilton. They were like, well, we got a good price on them, $155 a night. But if you just walked in off the street and didn't use a discount code, it would have cost you $250 a night, Marty, for a hotel room.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And you look at today's prices. What was it, 175 or something like that? That's nothing. I mean,
yeah.
But some people can't afford that. But I might be one of them. Right now. But anyway, yeah. So. I just wanted to say too a couple things. I enjoy King of Dot's poems. He's got a little bit of talent there. I think he should be a songwriter. That's what I'm thinking, because I'm a musician kind of guy too and stuff. But I hear his poems, and more than poems, I think that they sound more like they would go good in like songs. I just wanted to say that real quick, because I don't get to call in that much. But
he's a talented man, very talented man. Yes.
And but I don't know who's listening now or anything like that, but take a good look at what you're doing. Always look at what people are doing, because even our government, we're going to have to get to the bottom of a lot of shady stuff that's been going on for a long time. And the witnesses, it's worth really checking out to see what they're really up to there, because it sounds to me like it's all real estate based basically.
Well, Marty, I mean, I'm so glad that you put them under the microscope, and you can see these guys are bad. They're bad, totally bad.
Yeah, and it's because of you. It's also because of all you guys too, because you're helping Pixie, everybody who calls in and gives their 2 cents in there. That helps people. You put them under the microscope, and you can see these guys.
Someone's got the YouTube on. Is that you, King of Dot? Shut the YouTube up. Say hello to Marty, King of Dot.
I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that massive compliment from that individual, and you know what? I will tell you right now. I've been on the other end of that, and I'm going to tell you honestly, man. I can't write lyrics to songs I can't do it. It's impossible. It's a lot different. They're pretty much shorthand, like the old typists used to do. I just hate it, And I don't write poetry either, by the way. I haven't written since high school, as a matter of fact.
But you're pulling it out of your mind, though. It's coming out of your mind like when I write a song. It reminds me of that, like it's coming out of your mind really, like kind of you have a clear thought. You have a clear thought when it's coming out. So
I don't even have a clear thought. I'm different. I don't even have a clear thought.
Well, you don't think you do, but you do.
You have a burst of thought based on the last line or the last word.
That's it.
I do.
Yeah. But that's songwriting right there. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's good though. It's entertaining. I just wanted to put that out there to encourage you.
Since you're from Cleveland, right?
Are you from Ohio? Are you from Ohio?
Yeah, I'm from Ohio. I'm from Southwest Ohio. I want to do a shout out to Eric Carmen. One of my
Eric Carmen, yeah, baby.
The Raspberries.
Oh yeah.
And what is that great epic? Man, I'm getting a blank here. But and of course, isn't Alex Cooper from Cleveland too? I believe.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we had a few come out of here. Quite a few come out of here. Chrissy Hines is from Akron way.
Yeah, she's not too bad.
Well, we're turning Rick's show into a music thing now.
But that's all right. That you have the Browns and the Rock and Roll Museum. So what else do you got?
Yeah.
I just say, I'm sorry, man.
They've been struggling. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was almost a joke. I mean, it was never. We had a tribute band back in the 90s when I was getting out of the Witnesses, actually. I had a Neil Young tribute band called Powderfinger, and we played up there. We played a bunch of different places, but
that's fantastic.
Yeah. But the thing is I never got the idea of that place. It was owned at first by people from New York.
I've been there twice. I was very disappointed. Had a Doors tribute last time I was there.
Oh, it's pretty cool. I mean, but yeah, you see it once, it's probably enough. But it was owned from people in New York.
But we drove down Lake Erie and we found the Lighthouse Museum, which is the best museum I've ever been to in my life.
Really?
Absolutely. And from that vantage point, you can look and see Cleveland.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't been up there yet.
No, the northern coast there is spectacular, but I live too far away to visit it that often. So, but the reason I'm going to call was to tell you that this whole lyric stuff about songs, I've known some really good songwriters, and they go nowhere. Are you still there?
The thing is melody. I'm not talking about writing the music though. Like your kind of stuff, I could see you shipping it off to a
private conversation.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No private conversations allowed. No private conversations. Everybody's welcome.
All right, go ahead, Dick. What do you have to say, Dick?
Yeah, thanks, Rick.
I did want to say that.
I don't want to compete with King of Dots.
Go ahead, King of Dots. Go ahead. You finished? Go ahead.
Right. Yeah, I'm almost finished. I'm trying to formulate a 45 minutes.
I'm going to talk over him, Rick. I don't care about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame right now. I just want to state that the Watchtower has $7 billion in assets, and they could finish that project, but they want to milk the witnesses dry. So they're going to keep it going on for another 5 or 6 years. And I predict after they finish it, they're going to sell it to something like Disney or somebody in Hollywood, and they're going to make porn up there. And it's going to be the porn capital of the world.
They're already making porn.
The JWs.
They ought to donate money to us for pioneering for like 3 years.
I don't know if I'm on or not.
You should donate money
I
to
guess
us
you were
for pioneering for 3.
I think King of Dots was cutting in and out. If you want to call back in again, King of Dots, maybe if you're more clear, but I'd like to listen to you. Yep. Okay. Well, thank you, Marty. Thank you, Marty.
I think I'm back.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I'm trying to complete a thought. It's taking longer than I expected because I have to compete with you, Rick. You're just too darn sharp. I mean, you're really putting pressure on me, man.
Well, okay, hold on. It's coming. It's coming.
The fact is,
yeah.
Does the King of Dots write music too?
Do I do anything?
Okay.
Let me put it this way. It's a strange thing, but I will tell you this. I became popular in the organization early on because I could write songs. I had my own person to do an arrangement, and we would actually sing the songs at field service groups. And guess what? I can invent all kinds of songs and occasionally write good lyrics, but I don't really write music or play an instrument. But people like me. Peter Francis.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta hold on 1 second. Excuse me. I hate to butt in here, but I got a guest. I got a guest coming on here. But Seth, are you out there, Seth?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Marty. Okay. All right. Hey,
We'll chime in periodically.
All right. Well, thank you, Marty. Good to talk to you. Yeah. Hey, let's. Is Seth out there? Seth, are you out there? Is Seth out there with us? Okay. All right. Stefan, did you want to? That's. I think that's Maverick. That's Maverick from London. Go ahead, Maverick.
It's not Maverick. It's Tim from Australia. I haven't called in for a while. Hi, Rick.
Oh, very good. I thought you were Maverick. I thought you were Maverick. Well, thank you for calling in.
No worries. No, I've just been busy in my personal life. I'll just keep it brief. I just wanted to add to your point slightly on AI and then what one of the previous callers said about a lot of non-witness activists entering the space on YouTube. Well, you've got a new helper on YouTube now. There's a lot of AI channels and they're getting a lot of traction. I don't know who's behind them because some of the imagery, it seems like they'll have crosses, which witnesses don't have, but the ideas are fundamentally correct. But some of these are getting up to 300,000 views on YouTube just through random AI channels with AI voiceovers. So they're hitting the algorithm pretty correctly to get, they're getting some very viral videos out there, and they're not, they're just voiceovers, like AI voice. I thought you might find that pretty interesting, like, and really random channel names as well. And I noticed that on some of them, the stories seem to be fabricated, but they're based off real events that have really happened. And ultimately, they're still doing the same thing. They're exposing people to the truth about the witnesses. So you get a lot of comments on, they're hitting non-witness target audience just by the comments, because you see a lot of people say, I didn't know that about the witnesses. So I thought you might find that pretty interesting, because like generally XJW channels, 10,000 views is pretty high. 20,000, 30,000, that's high, but some of these are getting on to 300,000 views on some of their more viral videos, and some of them, that's within a week of coming out. Like you've even got one's just called channels Divine Truth Exposed and What Really Happened with Anthony Morris III and stuff like that. That one only had 11,000, but that said, that's decent. So I just found that pretty interesting that there's a lot of activism going on just using AI, so anonymous sources, and they've only sprung up kind of in the last few months as well. Anyway, that's all I got to say, Rick. Sorry, I haven't really. I've just had a lot going in my personal life, so I try to listen in when I can, and keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Tim, for calling in. Haven't heard from you in a while. Good to hear from you. You made my night tonight. Thank you.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey, Tim, before you hang up, who do you think is responsible for these AI-driven YouTube channels? Because I mentioned that exact same thing on Rick's show about 2 shows ago, and you're right, they're completely AI-driven. When you try to get some information on the channel, there's nothing there. And so my question is, who is responsible for that? Who do we think it's the community, or who's responsible for that?
I honestly. My personal belief is they don't seem to be XJWs, because some of the wording's slightly incorrect. And the reason why I say some of the stories seem to be fake is because most XJWs don't name people from their congregations deliberately, or unless they're died. But a lot of these channels with their fake stories, they'll name everyone, and they seem to be manufactured scenarios. And there's a lot of Christian channels on various themes, not just XJW, like they seem to be exposing other cults as well. So to me, it seems like a non-denominational Christian movement. They're not pushing ideas, theologies, they're just exposing. And on their Christian type of channels, which I believe are the same, I mean, it's just a hunch anyway, but they're not asking for money. They're not pushing agenda. Their literal purpose seems to be exposing people to the truth, and that's what I like about it. Even some of their channels are stuff like near death, like I went to heaven and saw this. They're fake stories. They're all scripted by the same exact kind of wording and made up names, but the overall message is quite good if you ignore the, like, if you believe whether this type of stuff happens or not. It's just whoever's behind them, in my opinion, seems to have pretty genuine motive, because their messaging's on point. They're not speculating, they're not pushing agendas, and they're not asking for money, because all of that's a red flag. As soon as you start saying one religion's right or one's not, or you're asking for money, that's just my opinion. But it is weirdly noticeable how they've programmed them to release enough videos to hit the algorithm right, and that's why they're getting so many views, because 300,000, like, I mean, that's a decent view count in it. But, say Rick's channel, this channel gets probably 2,500 views on YouTube. The biggest ex-witness channels are lucky to ever get 50,000. Some do. But some of these ones, they've got a random video, and they use clickbait, which has got nothing to do with it. Like this one I saw, Jehovah's Witness Exposed, it shows on the thumbnail 3 or 4 nuns and then one woman that's not a nun, and it says sex. The video is nothing about sex, but it's clearly just a thumbnail clickbait they've devised to get people to watch, and that one had over 300,000. I'm like, well, okay, this is This is quite interesting. I'll see if I can find you the exact. Okay, so it's called. No, it actually says free sex on the thumbnail. It's called Jehovah's Witnesses Expose What They Don't Tell You. The channel's called Divine Truth Exposed. 322,000 views. That is pretty decent. And then other ones called Kingdom Wisdom, and they've got all these ex-elders, or The Life of Grandmothers is another channel, and they've got like some real story, ex-elder of Jehovah's Witnesses exposes the cult's, dark truths. 268,000 views. All AI, and they. Yeah, I just don't think that they're ex-witness, because some of their imagery, like they'll show a place of worship that's meant to be a kingdom hall and it's got crosses. Like no one that's an ex-witness would do that, And anyway, interesting point. And
I totally agree. I totally agree with you. I just find it very concerning, because it's like, who is behind this? I mean, we have somebody out there or some group that just. I mean. Even though it's AI driven, there's still graphics involved. It still takes time to do it. And like you said, it's multiple channels. Somebody is going to, or somebody's plural, is going to a lot of work to publish these videos. And I'm just kind of surprised that nobody, and that may not be a topic for, Six Screens, but I'm just kind of surprised that nobody is really talking about who's doing this.
Yeah, I think want to be remain silent.
Very alarming.
Gentlemen,
it is in a sense, but it's like when you look at the message. So I like think to myself, okay, AI is a two-edged sword. It can be used for good or bad. And when you look at the messaging behind all of this, you can't fault it. Whoever's doing it is doing it properly, and they're having success. So I just think, well, they clearly don't want to put they don't want glory in a sense for themselves. They're remaining anonymous.
Thank you.
No.
Hey, gentlemen. I want to interject, please.
Go ahead, Dean. What do you want to say?
Oh, good. I want to interject respectfully, gentlemen.
Go ahead.
Right now, I think we're getting down a little too much in the minutia. Let's start going to where the Jehovah's Witnesses are at right now. I've been doing a lot of intel, okay? And here in my town, they are back to active preaching work. I caught two sisters day before yesterday out in the field knocking on doors with their watchtowers in tow and their stupid New World Translation. And, I'm a sheep, I can be a sheep in wolf's clothing. But I talk to them like I'm a witness, because I know the jargon, and that lets their guard down. And then I hit them with the hard-hitting truth that I was raped by a ministerial servant at the age of 12, and I get to see their jaws drop. And they still deny. No, I actually got them to admit that there are pedophiles in the Jehovah's Witnesses and that they're all over the world. But yet, they still refuse to talk to me. And then they went on to still preach that propaganda.
Well, Dean, no doubt. I mean, I see them out in the witness world too. I see them going door to door now and with the carts. So they're starting to pump that up again. Well, thank you, Dean. Thank you very much. I want to thank Tim as well. And of course, Stefan. I got to go to, we do have a guest coming on here. His name is Seth. He recently has exited the Jehovah's Witnesses. Let's bring Seth on right now. Seth, I'm bringing you on. Let's do that. Let's add Seth to the stage. Hello, Seth.
Hey, how's everyone doing tonight?
Well, we're all doing good, Seth. We've been looking forward to coming on. Sorry I didn't put the link in there. For some reason, it didn't go up, but then I'll take the blame for that. But thank you for
technology. It's fun.
Sometimes you hit the wrong button, things don't work. But I'm so glad to have you with us, Seth. My goodness. I know you're relatively out. Well, why don't you give us a little synopsis on what took place here? Tell the audience how long you've been out and why you got out.
So my wife and I, we've only been out. My wife actually left before I did. We've only been out relatively. It's just almost 2 years now. So we're still a year and a half out, maybe a year and 9 months out. She left in late, I believe it was December 2023, and I left January 2024. And I called my wife an apostate. I called her every name in the book, things like that. And she's such a darling woman. She's so sweet, so kind, so smart. But we left, and when we did, we knew we couldn't do so quietly. We had to get out there and expose. So we started slowly exposing. And what took us out, really, for me, the same thing as I know my friend Maverick's on here. 587, the same issue. 607 took me out, because I know without 607 you have no 1914. Without 1914 you don't have Jehovah's Witnesses. And my wife, she actually came, she started questioning things back during COVID, about different things going on there, and it got her brain working, and what really was the end point for her, oddly enough, was letting brothers have beards. Letting brothers have beards, because she actually knew many disfellowshipped ones, or ones who were disfellowshipped because they had beards. And so she was like, well, what about them? This isn't fair for God to just change and change and change. Well, it wasn't God that was changing, it was the organization. And so we are professed Christians. We're not part of any religious organization. We're spiritual people, and that's how we are. So we have a 2-year-old son as well. I don't know if you hear him in the background or not. It's he's a loud one. But so we live in Convention City, and I really I've watched this stream. I've watched another YouTuber who actually protests. I've seen all kinds of protests at conventions. I was basically doing the work of an elder, but yet not being an elder. I was very heavily used, took a strain on our marriage, but it was really a heavy burden on our being a witness was a heavy burden on us, and we just remembered the scriptures where it says it's not supposed to be burdensome. And so it started to slowly tear apart our family and things like that. So when we did leave, we knew we had to be loud about it. We knew we had to make a little fuss. But we wanted to do so in a different way than we've ever seen before. So that's where we've decided, we live in Convention City, right here in the heart of the Ozarks, the Queen City of the Ozarks, Springfield, Missouri. We have all the conventions and assemblies here in town, many weekends, just a mile away from where we currently live. So we could not pass up the opportunity to go down to the convention center here in town where they have all the events and protest. Now, we wanted to do so kindly, because we got to thinking, as many times as we've seen protesters, what would really click in our mind? We would gladly ignore any of the negative protest, because it was negative to us. It was truthful. Some of the things were absolutely truthful. And I did subconsciously take it in. Absolutely subconsciously, I took it in. So it does have an impact, but I would ignore it. Our goal is to come out and kindly protest. Let people know there's a support system on the outside. When my wife and I were freshly leaving, we didn't know where to turn. In fact, we had nobody. We didn't know what to do, where to go, where to turn, who to talk to. We felt alone. And that's what we want to help others. We want to make sure that they have somewhere they can turn to. So that's why we created our YouTube page, XJW Coulters. That's a play on our last name. Our last name is Colter. And so we went under and became XJW Coulters. So that's a play on our last name, but we have fun with it. I just want to thank everybody for their support. I'm reading the comments as we're doing here, and it's so awesome to see all the support from the XJW community. Now, if we knew about this stuff beforehand, we wouldn't had such a hard time when freshly leaving. It was so bad at one point, well, many points actually. You just want to go back, even though it was false love. Jehovah's Witnesses showed false love. They were at least consistent with their false love, but it's fake. And so we wanted to be sure that we want to let people know there's real love out there. There's real unity. There's you don't have to believe everything the same way as somebody else. And that's the beautiful thing about being human. We don't have to be conformed to one thing. As long as we're kind, we're patient, and we're loving. And I'm still learning this freedom thing, this freedom in thinking. I know Anne Marie loves to say her favorite 4-letter word is free, and I disagree. My favorite 4-letter word is food, but you know, I got my bag of Doritos here with me, so there's that. But freedom, it's a new concept, and it's a beautiful one. So when we did leave, we left all of our family, so we didn't really have anywhere to turn. Thankfully, my mother-in-law doesn't believe the shunning policy. She's actually, I put her in the PIMQ category. She's questioning a lot of things. So we've been talking with her and working on that. But you know how difficult that gets. But showing that there is a support system out there, xjwfriends.com, streamings like this, JW World News and the Six Screens Network, and other, there is a place where you can go to. You can talk freely. A big support of ours when we started leaving and started being introduced to a community was Joe and Fran, which I know is a friend of the show. Joe and Fran have been there a lot for us. They've helped us personally to clear our thinking. But we've watched all of them. There's so many. There's so many, and we just love that people can come together. We know we have many friends who we talk to almost on a daily basis anymore. It seems like we have Dallas who joins the show, and Sue and many others, and it's become a family. And talking with Rick, talking with Anne Marie, talking with others, it really makes you feel complete. So again, our goal was to show there is unity, there is support. We're not forcing anybody. So we have some fun times with our protest. Another thing that happens with our protest is here in Springfield, we had an issue. And so we're going to cover this on our YouTube channel. We're brand new to YouTube. So please subscribe. Please, that will help us so much. Watch the videos if you can, if you have time. We're not planning this. We're not on a money-making venture on this. We just want to help people who want to leave. Share this with somebody who's questioning. Let them know that we're available to talk to pretty soon. I do think that we're going to put our numbers out there as well for anyone new leaving. We're able to talk to, because I know there's several others who have done that. It's so wonderful to talk. Going to the XJW convention was eye-opening. That was so beautiful for us as well. It's just something that I think every one of us resonate. Being newly out, we were new out at some point. I don't know how long everyone has been out. But I know, Rick, you for over 20 years you've been doing this faithfully, this Six Screens faithfully, and that is so beautiful. It fills my heart to be able to join. But yes, over on our YouTube channel, we're going to be sharing our stories. We're going to share other stories. So if you are interested in sharing your story, please reach out to me. You can do so. I have an email. I don't know if I can even pull it up here. But I do believe it's in the description as well on the YouTube channel. If you're interested in being interviewed, you know, we can do something. I just want people to know there's a support network. So right now we're supporting xjwfriends.com. Don't go to JW Friends. I don't think that's probably good for us. But we are reaching out to a community who may be PMO. And one amazing thing, and I've touched on this before, is being a guest on the phone with Anne Marie, every child that we held up a sign for, every child, teenager, or questioning adult, they read it, and some of them were wording it. Some gave little thumbs up, some gave little smiles. People were polite. They were polite to us apostates. Our goal is to change the meaning of that word in the witness's mind. Some of them. We want to be able to help free the mind of a negative connotation with that word. Let them think apostate means friends. In other words, we're not evil. We're not evil. Us apostates are not evil people. We are good people. We have talked to so many people that are good. I have my setbacks. Even earlier this week, Rick, you wouldn't believe the kind of setback that I had mentally, especially with this Charlie Kirk thing. Now, I did not agree with the guy ideologically. I did not agree with him, on a lot of things. Some things I did, but it was so weird. He was a 31-year-old guy out there using debate as a forum, and he lost his life. I'm going to be 31 in 2 days, and it just hit close. So it's been a rough week, and it's weeks like that where you need to rely on our friends here, our XJW community. Support. If you are having issues, seek help, whether it's from anyone else, whether it's professional help. Seek help. That is a journey that Felicia and I are on, but we're happy to share this journey with everyone here as well.
Well, my goodness, Seth, we're all impressed. We're really impressed. My wife, Susan, she really listened to you on a last Sunday program, and we're really impressed with you. You are a rising star in the world of the ex-Jehovah's Witness. Seriously, you speak well. You got a lot to say. You have passion. You have commitment, and you're moving in the right direction. I've got your email on the bottom there so people can see that. If you want to get a hold of Seth, that's his email right there on the bottom of the screen. So you're a man after my own heart, Seth. And the reason why I say that is I am a protester. And there's something that happens to me when I protest. And people say, well, what happens? Well, I get an adrenaline rush. And everyone listen to this program. I hope you experience it. But that's when your body chemistry somehow works to a real good. You really feel good about what you're doing, and everything just radiates goodness throughout your whole body. And that's how I feel when I go protesting.
Absolutely, Rick. You not only do you feel the radiance, you feel a power, and I as a Christian, I almost believe this is me saying this as a Christian, not saying everyone else can have their own opinion about it, but I almost feel this is the Lord's work. Protesting is part of that, helping people. We have a special territory to cover. Others have another type of territory to cover. We, as ex-witnesses, our friends, our family members, they're still on the inside. They're locked away. They're in a cage listening to the governing body's lies, lie after lie after lie. And that is something, some of them, as staunch as I was, if the governing body said it, it was gospel to me. And I listened to every little tidbit of word. Like I said, I even called my wife an apostate, and it caused us to have a short separation because I was so gung-ho for the witness world, and my wife just had questions. She was simply questioning. So if she had support, and she did, we actually had a special surprise. We'll talk more about that on a YouTube video sometime, and it was actually very interesting and come full circle. Now we're going to we've been in contact with a lawyer for some things that happened here in Springfield that were illegal, that the Jehovah's Witnesses were doing at the convention, blocking a public sidewalk from use and things like that. It was very interesting. So we'll have more on that to come, but lots of good stories. Again, we want everyone to be able to share their story. I want to hear more people's stories. So I really I love this program. I love the other programs, activity programs. It's something that has become habitual to us because we want to be there. Not like the meetings, not like the JW meetings where you had to be there.
Well, there's a world of difference. But the interesting thing, Seth, is when it comes to protesting, and I listen out, there's a bunch of people listening in here right now, but I have to let them all know that it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's not an easy thing to do for people, and a lot of people say, "No, I just don't want to do that," and that's okay. I'll never pick on someone that doesn't. It's very difficult to get people to come and protest with you. Now, I started protesting going back 2000. Well, actually, I've been doing it for 15 years. So around 2005, I started 2004, 2005. But I'll tell you, it's different. It was different back then. It really was antagonistic. I mean, the witnesses would get really, really out of control. I mean, to the point of gunning their cars when they came by you, spinning their wheels, looking nasty at you, not even looking at you, doing everything they can to get out of the way of an apostate. But as the years went on, and just recently in the last year, the last convention that we did, and you mentioned it the other day in your program as well, that people are different. I had people stop and get out of their car and take a picture of us, apostates.
It
I had-
is. It's different. I had witnesses coming over to offer me a bottle of water to help because it was a warm day. You have people saying hi to you and walking. It's a different kind of and not to say there's not still some out there who will rev their engine at you and things, and some people shake their head and they want to do other things too. But it's a kinder environment that I think is because, as you've discussed on this program, my guess is like we said, there's 8 million, 9 million, 4 million of them are PMOs. At least half of them, in my opinion, are PMOs. They're ready to leave. They're ready. They just have to find out how. They have to know their support, and a lot of them stay in because of family. So it could be a chain reaction for a whole family to leave even.
Well, what I find, in fact, the young ones, and of course, mom and dad would be in the car, they'd be driving the car, and you got the kids in the back seat, young kids, 13, 14, 15, and they're going by and they're giving us thumbs up. And they're really giving us thumbs up. And I've had one woman, the last convention we went to up in Lowell, Massachusetts, where we were was perfect. We were at the end of, where they were coming out of the convention, there was only one road out, and there was a stoplight. So they had to stop. And boy, I'll tell you, if there was a place to protest, that was perfect. So
we had a perfect spot too, Rick, right at a stoplight. And it was pedestrian traffic and stoplight traffic right outside of where they were loading. And here in Springfield, we have a really good location. It's a building that reaches curb to curb. So it's public sidewalks everywhere, all around the convention center.
And then there you go. And they would stop. And I had one woman, she rolled the window down and she says, "Boy, am I glad you guys showed up here." She says, I don't believe this at all anymore. I've been a witness for years, but I do not believe it. I'm glad that somebody's out there letting people know what's going on.
Well, Rick, we just heard a day or two ago, I believe it was on one of the Reddit pages, the convention itself woke somebody up. They watched the video and said, "What?" And they started looking at it. So they're doing their own. They're doing the Lord's work themselves by waking people up on their own. It's crazy. They're waking. They're all the changes, the chain reaction of changes, and here we are coming up. And about a month from now, they're going to have their annual meeting. What changes are we going to see again? So it's crazy. These people are friends. I still count them as friends and family. They may shun us. They may shun us for a temporary time, but I believe before long we'll have many join us.
Oh, it's only a matter of time. In fact, you
Oh, yeah.
mentioned just a little while ago, you mentioned that I say about 4 million PMOs, but I'm going to tell you something, Seth. The number's going up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I'm almost to the point that I really believe, now not in the truest sense, PMO, but I believe that every Jehovah's Witness as of late is a PMO. I really do. I mean, how can they possibly stay in an organization and go along with all this baloney? Now,
Right.
even at the
Well-
outset, at the outset of our program today, I got some information from a young man, and he said he was eavesdropping on his father, who was an elder, and he eavesdropped on him. And this week, his father elder was talking to another elder, and the father said, I don't really go along with this idea of these movies the Watchtower is making there. What they're doing is they're not telling the truth. Now, he could be disfellowshipped for that. But here he is so willing to speak up and at least say that. Isn't that something, huh?
It really is, Rick. And to let you know, it's happening of all ages. I know earlier in the program you were discussing some of the age differences, and a lot of the time right now, the older ones are leaving. We know very well. It's so shocking. We have I think he's 77. I'll say late 70s, and his wife. I was in their congregation. He was there. He was an elder there at one time. There was only 2 elders in that congregation. If that tells you anything, I think there's 3 or 4 now. But anyway, he was an elder, and a very, very stern. He believed it whole souled, wholehearted. He wrote a 17-page letter explaining why he had to leave, explaining the crookedness of the governing body and things like that. Now, there's still a lot that I disagree that he believes on, and some I do agree. But it was crazy, a 17-page letter explaining why he left. And him and his wife, I've been able to talk with them on the phone a couple of times, and it blows my mind. And it's those of all ages. I see a lot of young ones leaving. I see a lot of young ones stuck in it just because of family. Honestly, that's why my wife stayed in it for so long, is family. But always questioning things, and that's a beautiful thing. One of our signs says, "Smile. It's not all doom and gloom." Another one says, it talks about it's okay to question. Yeah, and then I also did share this one. Want to know the truth about the truth? Visit JW Facts, because that has so much good information on it. That one was a little more of my pointed ones, but a couple of the others were just there's the smile one. Life is not all doom and gloom. Something positive. We put flowers around it. We put the XJW Friends website on it. We want to make sure people know it's friendly on the outside. There's so much work we're doing too. That's my boy. He says that sign is, "I'm not a little enemy of God." As we know, that's a quote that was put out there by Stephen Lett. And I have to tell you, wow, who would imagine a governing body member saying that? Little enemy of God.
Well, you sure do have a cute little son there, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
So,
that's my baby.
So he's only, what is he, only 2 years old, huh?
He's just 2. He turned 2 back in June. Yeah.
Wow, so he's a young protester, huh?
That's right. That's right.
He goes out there with you. What's he think of it?
Oh, he sits out there and he waves at everybody and says, "Hi." So it's actually really cute. And what a blessing it is when we got out, when we did. I can't imagine raising a child within the organization. Just a short story. Whenever my wife, he was 11 days old when we went to our first convention. 11 days old. I drug my wife in the hottest summer heat I felt in a long time. Drove him all the way to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to go to the convention there, because I think we were living in Oklahoma at that time, near my in-laws, before we moved back to Springfield. But and it was a hot heat. We took him there, and they thought they owned our child. They thought, and I went along with it. I said, although it made me a little uneasy, I'm like, well, this is the congregation's baby. In my mind, my wife hated every moment of it. She even talked to me and said, please don't let them pass him around. Please don't. And I said, well, this is the congregation's baby. It's not just our baby. We have to share him. Believe it or not, after the convention, we ended up in the hospital. Our little man got sick. And it was because he was passed around and kissed. He was kissed a lot. And so definitely it's not the congregation's baby. That's our baby. So I'm so glad we do not have to raise him in that.
So what was it that he actually got sick? What was the disease he had?
It was, it's slipping my mind. It's right on top of my mind. I can't. It was from kissing. They were kissing him. Part of it was E. coli.
Is that right? They did mention E. coli. That's a serious thing. That baby, your son could have died because of that. But
absolutely,
the witnesses do that, and they go up to the little babies, and the mothers hate it. I know even my former wife hated it. The witnesses would come up and grab the baby and start walking all over the place with it. And that's
as for me, I told my wife, I said, well, it's the congregation's baby. She's like, no, it's my baby. I said, don't be selfish. That was me being selfish there. That's the congregation's baby. So it was, they some of them, and they passed them around to some of the filthiest of the friends. And I know we've all been in halls with some filthy people. And this was in Oklahoma hall, and I'm not putting labels on it, but this one was a little more redneck, a little more country, a little more less concerned about hygiene. And this one, it was definitely just passing around our son. And my wife told me, don't do it, don't let him do it. And I said, oh, it's the congregation's baby. Everyone gets a chance to be around him. So that was rotten.
That's but we all have stories like that. We really, really do.
Right.
I like the term you just used, a little less hygiene. That's nice. You were very soft on that. But I'm glad that your baby's doing good now, because boy, I'll tell you, that really would ruffle my feathers. It would do, yeah. So I know your wife now. She's very shy. We're not going to ask her to come on, but her name is Felicia. And Felicia, if you're listening, we're saying hi to you. And when you muster up the courage someday, and you'd like to come on our program, we'd love to have you right there next to Seth. But when you can, don't you worry about it. We love you, and we hope that someday you'll be able to do that. So that'll be good. Yep.
Oh, she'll be ready soon. She's just she's getting over some nervousness that actually, as we know, was built in by the organization's view on women. So she's trying to break out there, and I did not do that any justice as her husband. And while I was in the organization, I carried that value too, with men have dominance, you submit. And I had very poor examples around me, very poor examples. I heard how they talked to their wives and things. So I imitated, so I'm learning how to be a better husband. She's learning to gain the courage to step up. And it's a process. As we've discussed, we're both newly out, and so it's a process. But she'll be ready before you know it.
Well, that's good. No, I know you mentioned that early, and you mentioned last Sunday when you're on the program. It has to be. I don't know what it would be like to be a gung ho witness, and your mate kind of, or at least is expressing their thoughts on how bad the Watchtower is. Now, fortunately, when I came out, my wife actually came out a little before me, and she started telling me scripturally some of the things that were wrong. And, I listened to her a little bit, and then I started doing some research and came out myself. But that is going to be really difficult, having a mate like your wife did. And good for Felicia. She started seeing the little holes in the Watchtower.
Yeah, and I turned my in-laws against her own parents, who were active witnesses and still are to this day, although my mother-in-law does question things. I turned my in-laws against her. I said, your daughter's she's apostatizing. She's thinking this, and she's talking down against the governing body. And they would, oh, it's okay, Seth, come here. You're doing everything right. Be a good husband, and take the lead, and she'll follow. And it wasn't going down that path. But then, you know, my wife would have me question things, and she's like, well, think about this or think about that. And then it's slow. I was like, oh my gosh. She said, just search one thing that you've ever questioned. And mine was that 607. And so that's what led it from there.
Well, isn't that something? No, but I give Felicia a lot of credit because
Me too.
do you realize how many people are listening right now that are in a predicament? They're listening. There's people listening in right now, Seth. I'm telling you, they're outside. They're in the woods somewhere. They're out by the woodshed. They're in a back room in their house. Their mate doesn't want to catch them on the 6 screens. They're listening, and I know they are. I can tell because I see phone lines here, and I'll
Right.
see. I've got a number of computer screens. You can't see them all, but there's a computer screen with all the phone calls coming in from all over the world. And at times I see people drop off, then they come back 2 or 3 minutes later, then they drop off again, then they come back. That's showing me what's going on. I'm not
Yes,
trying to.
and I encourage anyone listening right now, if you're in that type of predicament, reach out. We're available. My wife and I will gladly talk to you. Everything is kept confidential. We're not going to go out there and spread anything. We don't. It's completely confidential. But if you need to talk, or you need help, or you're questioning, or you want to take a different type of route to leave, you don't have to leave loudly. You don't. That's not a requirement. It's certainly helpful for our sake on our side of things, but we also want to take in if you need to leave quietly. We'll talk with you. We'll help you. We'll be there for you. My wife is probably the most empathetic empath ever, and I'll tell you, she has quite a story. She has a heart of gold and a brain that is so smart. She can talk with you. I can talk with you, as well as if you want to leave loudly and you want help protesting and you want to take that next step, contact, and I'm sure you're open for this too, Rick. Contact us. We can protest. There's so many protests we can do. As long as it stays peaceful, and kind, we can help you protest.
Well, I'll tell you what. In fact, there's more that would be willing to do it today. But I'll tell you, when I first started, it was like cutting teeth trying to get someone to come and protest with you. And
Right.
I would get people say, "Oh, Rick, I'm going to be there, and I'm coming," and then they would chicken out at the last minute, and they'd say, "Well, gee, Rick, my cat got sick today, and I had to stay home." They would make up every excuse, but
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying that you have to do it. And I understood that, but I'll tell you what. I'll tell you this sincerely. I was at the biggest protest ever. That was down at the White House back in 2023. And I went down there in September, and they wanted me to go down. I went down, and I counted them. There was 226 and 36. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it was the largest protest ever. But there were so many people that, they were on the sidelines. They would stay in the sidewalk. They didn't want to get out there and hold a sign. But after the protest, they all got together, and everyone was so happy. Everyone was taking selfies and sharing emails and telephone numbers. That's when I thought about the Still Alive in 2025 convention. I says, well, I see a lot of you people really didn't want to protest, but you're here. How would you like to have a convention? Oh, that would be great. So that's how we got there. I figured, maybe we can't get them to protest, but we can get them to come to the convention. So
now, Rick, we set out and we realize how much money and effort it takes for those conventions, but it's worth it. And Felicia and I would be delighted to be part of the program or help put it together. Anytime we ever do another one of those ever again, we sat down, I think during the convention and made funny names for them, like trying to get to heaven in 2027 or what, crazy stuff. We just wrote out a bunch of funny ones, but yeah, we're
keep
ready.
your names coming. You never know what's going to happen. Now, see, what they did is they filmed a full-length motion picture there, and that was really something else. So I was talking to the producer this week, and they hope to have it. They're going to try to get it out somewhere around the first of the year. But he says, Rick, he says, I have to tell you, he says, when we came up to Boston, because they also were going to New York and filming Philadelphia and a few other places, he said, we love that convention for the movie. He says it was so vibrant and colorful. He says it was so good. So we're really, I'll tell you what, when that convention comes out, it's really it's gonna help a lot of ex-witnesses.
Absolutely. It's going to help a ton of people. But we did make one agreement, Rick. I'll tell you what Felicia and I just said, we cannot have the theme Pillowgate 2028.
Well, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Well, I'll tell you what. Now let's open the lines up. I'm sure there's people like to say hello to you, Seth.
Sure.
Seth is on with us. He's only been out for 2 years. The man has got a lot of passion, a lot of commitment. Why don't you say hello to Seth? Go ahead. Why don't you come on, say hello to Seth. Let him know what you think. I mean, you carry yourself really well, Seth. You really do. I listened to
you and I have a bit of a same background there, Rick. I was involved in radio and TV for a long time, and I wanted to go to college for it, but you know who stomped on those streams, right?
Oh yeah.
So I got out of the TV broadcasting world to pursue kingdom realities that still haven't happened yet. And so, you know, it's one of those things. And now I can go to college for it, apparently.
Well, I'll tell you, see what it was, I never really looked at broadcasting as being like, the entertainment world. I mean, you could kind of put it in there, but that's one thing the witnesses hate is, entertainment. You're not supposed to be an entertainer. Jehovah doesn't like that. But, anything, no matter what you would do, musicians, I know so many good musicians, and I met them there at the Still Alive convention that were really talented musicians, but Watchtower put the kibosh on that as well. It was terrible. Yeah. So why don't you call in, say hello to Seth. You're on the 6 Queens. Tell them that we've got a lot of people on the telephone line here. I just want to get them to call in. I'm not sure what's going on. Let me go over here. Say hello to Seth. My goodness, he's calling in from Missouri. Him and his wife just recently got out. They would love to hear. They would love to hear from you folks out there. He was on last Sunday. We had a number of people call in, talk to him. So if you'd like to say hello to Seth, now's the time to do it. I'll give him a couple of minutes here to call in. Let me just take a look at some of the. Let me take a look at some of the chat here. They really enjoy it.
Yeah, and you can always join. Please, like I said, like and subscribe on our YouTube page. Leave comments, interact, because the more the interaction, like we've talked about the algorithm, I don't know how many times on different channels, it gets it out there. So you never know when a newly or a PMO is listening and who wants to leave, or someone who newly left who is having the same experience. So this is about helping others. For us, we're not making money from a channel. We're poor. I'm a bus driver. We work, we live in, the Ozarks. We're not interested in any of that. We're not interested in celebrity titles, but we're ready to help. That's the goal. We want to help as many as possible who want to leave.
There you go. Well, no, I like the way you talk. I like the way you talk. I don't monetize this. Well, let's go to, I think before we bring Linda on, let's bring in the Northern Peninsula of Michigan. I believe that's Ken up there. Go ahead, Ken. All right. All right. Let's go to Apostle Babe then. Linda, come on in.
Linda.
This is Apostle Babe, and it's really good to hear you speak about the growth that you've made and admitting some of the things that you've done that you have changed your mind about, and I appreciate that a lot. That's not something I hear men speak about very often. And thank you for that. Thank you.
Linda, that's something that we've had discussions on before, but I do claim to be, and this is a term I'm working on. I do believe I have borderline personality issues sometimes, but also I think I'm a self-aware narcissist, and I'm working on that. I'm working on changing things. I'm working on that. So thank you, Linda. And having the support group that we have is really helping clear things up in my mind. And a lot of times when you leave with the same thoughts and the same teachings that Watchtower had, and being used as the yes man for Watchtower, because I did if they asked me to do anything, I was yes. It took me away from my family. It took me away doing this and that. I was going on shepherding calls and things, and I'm not well, I was doing all these things I wasn't supposed to be doing. Handled the finances at the hall, did this, did that, did this, was overseer over some of the departments, and for local congregation and assembly wide, for the whole circuit. And so a lot of that got to me. It was a climb the ladder type thing. Hey, you're doing God's work, so climb the ladder, and it's okay to take some of that prestige. So letting that thinking go, Linda, has been quite a journey, and it's still a journey. I think we had a conversation last night. I've cried a lot this week. It's been tears and tears and tears. So just continuing forward.
Thank you for, I enjoyed talking with you yesterday. And one of the things about, one of the characteristics of a cult is those that are above us within the hierarchy of a cult, all the way to the top, is that they teach the members to be narcissistic. That's part of the training to get people to be, yes. So you mentioned, the people that were around you before and how you took on some of their, the way they had been persuading you and stuff. And now you get to kind of look at things differently. And that's really great. But that is one of the things that is to be expected when someone's within a cult, especially with the men. And the fact that you've tapped into that is also impressive, okay?
Thank you, Linda.
And
I think my wife appreciates it too.
I was sitting here thinking, homeboy's just lucky that they have that rule that you can't leave them even if they beat the hell out of you. You got to stick with them. I'm thinking she had to have that stick with them mentality.
Yeah.
But it sounds like she was pretty patient with you, and at the same time putting ideas out for you to come up with your own ideas.
And that's why we separated there, Linda, because I thought I was above her, and so when the short separation happened, because she was thinking apostate things, and I was so angry about it, that's why it happened, because I was like, no, but she still stuck through, and we came back together, as ex-witnesses. So that was great.
Oh, wow. That's so beautiful. That's beautiful. I bet it's stronger than ever. I bet the coming back.
We're working on it.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. So yeah, keep up. And again, I have to compliment you and your wife on the little sign that your son wears on his stroller. Well, he doesn't wear it. It's on his stroller,
Yeah.
What does it say?
It says, I'm not a little enemy of God.
I just freaking love that. Love it, love it. And it will come to mind to some of the witnesses when they see it. And it's making light of it too,
Right.
But yeah, thanks for talking with me, and I'll let you go. I'm sure there's other people that want to talk with you. Okay, bye-bye.
Well, JP, say hello to our good friend Seth.
Hi, Seth. How's it going? This is JP.
Hey, JP.
Yeah, I've heard you a few times on Joe and Fran's show and stuff, but I can really, I really give it to you for doing those protests and stuff. I probably not in the place in my life right now where I could do something that bold, but just for family reasons and other stuff. But I really commend you for that. That's pretty nice, because like you were saying earlier, I remember growing up in the late 80s and 90s, and we used to go to Dodger Stadium, and we would see, groups of like maybe upwards of 50 apostates with very, colorful signs and artistical signs. Nothing that you can print off back in the day. This is in the 80s and 90s. So everybody who made a sign was very unique and stuff. And I remember my parents and that, and just everybody in the congregation, they just terrified us of these people. But I used to peek at their signs and stuff, and looking back now, I can see that there was really nothing terrible or that was heretical or anything like as opposed to the Bible. That are just bringing out stuff that against the Watchtower,
right,
and trying to wake people up back then. But yeah, I think to get that movement going again, I know Rick went to Washington D.C. A couple of years ago. I know that protest went on twice, but that would be a nice thing to get more involved in that.
If we could get a protester at every convention across the country, one or two, maybe a small group, it doesn't have to be very many, but if we could get someone out at just about every one across the country or across the world, it may make an impact on somebody. You never know. We don't know. We know we saw thousands and thousands and thousands of witnesses. We saw them drive by. We saw them in person. And I'm sure we made an impact on somebody, and we may never know. But the point is, I do think that is giving them the opportunity for them to see something. And they read it. It just amazed me at how many people actually read the signs we've had. And I don't know. I need to ask a few questions at some point on how many hits on the website and things like that. But it's so beautiful to see how many people actually read. So you don't have to. A lot of people do leave and have family issues. We're very, very blessed that my mother-in-law does not believe the shunning policy, and that's really the only witness relative we would be worried about losing. The rest of them, they didn't talk to us anyway half the time, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, and I really liked your signs, especially the one with your son. I mean, everything that your wife wrote out for everybody to smile and that. And from what you were saying to your son, I think everything was really well thought out and put together. That's why you got such a good response. I'm hoping maybe in the next 2 weeks or so, I might get an opportunity to do something like that with some other XJWs. But I don't know if you or Rick know that there's going to be a XJW meetup in Las Vegas for 2 days in 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
And there's about 20 to 30 XJWs going, but I was talking to a few people and I was saying, wouldn't that be amazing if we're all walking on the strip and we found like a few, JW carts on the strip and we could go speak to them? But what I would say, we would go up there to be friendly to them. It would be nice to greet the cart and just say, hey, we're here on an XJW vacation. There's 20 of us or so here. And not to preach to them and tell them why Watchtower is wrong, but maybe we could all just go by and just say hello and just give them a quick 2 to 5 minute reason of our history as being Jehovah's Witnesses and why we left, and just wish them a good day, the cart. But if all of us could do that, one after another, give our testimony to the cart and not really question them or rebuke them, just say, hey, we used to be witnesses. We just wanted to come by and say hi. And there's a big group of us here in Las Vegas doing a meetup. We just want to tell you guys why we all left real quick. And that's it. And I think that would be a huge impact to them. But I don't know. I don't.
Well, JP,
so much activity anymore with a JW, so we may not even see any. So
if they are out there, I encourage you to talk to them and do just as you said, because they're already thinking for themselves. Yeah. Every witness has an opinion. Every witness, I know, I was gung ho for it. I was the yes man. I still had opinions on the within, and I thought, boy, that's something I could question, but I'm going to choose not to. But if you come up and say, hey, you know what, and show a smiley face, because my ideal of apostates was everyone was evil. You know how many evil apostates I've met? Goose egg. None. I have not met an evil apostate yet. There are some very strongly opinionated. There are some that, you know, I personally wouldn't hang out with, but they're all friends. You know, that apostates, they're not evil.
Yeah, and I would just go let them know, you know, I'm a former brother or sister. I mean, I don't want to consider you a former brother or sister. You may consider me one, but
right.
I noticed you're here doing the cart work, and there's a group of us here. If you can see it, we're all actually ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, and we just wanted to come by and say hi and let you guys know that we used to be one of you, but we love you guys.
Right. Right. And that's what love will change more. That'll get them thinking, wow, they actually love somebody. They actually love somebody.
Yeah.
That will get them thinking.
No,
say, you know, we'll go by real quick, and we'll tell you briefly how we all found the truth, and then how we all found the truth about the truth, and then you know, we'll be on our day. But if you
That's
guys
right, and that's the thing. Some of those people standing at the carts, some of them standing at them, are probably already like, yeah, they're not really in it. They're there because they have to check a box for their time, or they're putting on a display for a family member. But they could be Pimo themselves. They could be sitting there thinking, I'm ready, but I don't know where to go, don't know where to turn. But you showing love or compassion, or showing that there's support on the outside, could motivate them to wake up and leave the governing body's lies.
Well,
I think it'll be interesting. I mean, it is just a meetup, but if we do encounter a card, I'm sure we'll all, you know, try to, you know, embrace them. But yeah, other than that, I just wanted to tell you and Rick that that's what I'm looking forward to in the next few weeks. But thanks, Seth, for coming on the show.
Thank you for allowing me, everyone. Thank you for allowing me here. This is great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, JP. Thank you. Always good to hear from you, and I hope things go well. I hope you can make it out to that protest. Not the protest, but that meetup would be good. Thank you for calling in. Yeah, Seth, I wanted to say, yeah, in fact, I got a picture, I got a little video here of a protest. You mentioned earlier the elders came out and blocked the sidewalk. This happened to us back in 2011 at the McMullen Center at the University of Massachusetts out in Springfield. And I'll just play a little clip here. I want you to see they did the same thing to us. So I'll play the clip, get a little idea of what was going on. And this is back in 2011. So let's share it now. Let's play it. Let me get up here and do it. Massachusetts, right at the University of Massachusetts, is the Jehovah's Witness Regional Convention. And what we've got a little mild demonstration of protest going on. Today is a very important day in the world of the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. This is the first annual ex-Jehovah's Witness Day, so we want to acknowledge all of the people that have been touched by the tentacles of the Watchtower all over the world. And we want to let you know we are concerned, and hopefully all of us exposing the Watchtower together can make a real difference. You can span around and see some of the signs that we have here. Yes, indeed, Jehovah's Witnesses are a dangerous and a destructive cult. And of course, they are covering up child molesters. I'm going to move forward here. I want you to see the elders. Now, these are the...
Yet in Matthew, what does it say, brothers?
Let me just say what's going on there, Luke, and the camera. Get the recording on? Yeah. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and about a dozen elders come out of it lined up to make sure the witnesses coming out of the arena don't come this way. Yeah, so they so what they're doing is they're standing there. They don't want the witnesses in any way seeing that we're here. Well, we'll stop it right there. But just the idea. So they're the elders. You can see them right there. Let me just move them forward. But they were blocking it. I'll get a closer shot here. You'll see them. The witnesses were coming out, and they had a dozen elders out there blocking the sidewalk. You can see them right there. They did not see that crosswalk. They did not want them coming by that crosswalk. That they did not want them to come over and talk to us. But I'll tell you what, it was a good protest. Now, on Reddit, not too long ago, I would say, less than a month ago, I read on Reddit a young man. he said he was at, I guess, that particular convention because he mentioned in Springfield, and he said there was some apostates outside. And he says his mother kept telling him, don't look at the apostates, don't look at the apostates. But he said, they helped him get out of the so-called truth. So that can work, Seth,
Absolutely, it does work, and it's something. When the elders blocked us, they were blocking our access. We were walking on the. We rolled up our signs. We put them under our son's stroller. We rolled them up, and we were walking back to our vehicle. After it was there may be a small dwindling of witnesses still leaving, but for the most part, everyone left. So we were walking back through. My wife heard them as we were walking through and said, they're not allowed over here ever. Stop them. Don't let them come on the public sidewalk. So we got a hold of the city. When they blocked us, there was 8 to 10 of them. We've got a short video on our YouTube channel. If anyone wants to go over there and see that, it's under the shorts, I believe. It's like a 12-second video. But we have more info on that and things. And it's being turned over to a lawyer on the city here, the city of Springfield, Missouri. They were informed, said no, that's absolutely, they don't rent the sidewalk. They were telling us at the expo center here in town that when they rent that, they rent everything in front of it too, all the sidewalk, and we rent this is ours. And the city said, no way, that's impossible. We don't rent out the public sidewalk unless it's a city sponsored event. And so it was so interesting. So this is going in the direction of a lawsuit potentially. We're working up to it, but since we do have the video proof of that, we stood there toe to toe with 8 to 10 of them, face to face, toe to toe. One of the elders put his leg out when I tried to go around him and pushed my son's stroller. So there was contact. For one, and it was not good. So, this could be a good thing.
I hope it works out for you, Seth. But
Oh yeah,
see, the witnesses, they think they're above the law.
Absolutely.
Where'd they ever get that thinking? We rent it all, sidewalk and everything. No, they don't. As a matter of fact, I tell you, at that particular protest you just saw there, I was at, they had 2 police officers on motorcycles. And they were giving us the thumbs up, and we're watching,
That's right.
keeping an eye on you. So they were watching.
Police do not like witnesses, contrary to what they may think. Yeah, they're peaceful. Most of the time, witnesses have peaceful events and things like. They're not backing them. Police officers, they're standing up for your First Amendment right to protest. They're there giving the thumbs up. They're saying, "Hey, keep this up. We don't like them anyway. They bother us on Saturday mornings." Please, please take them down.
Well, you're right. In fact, even the police, we had one man there that came with us to protest, but he said, Rick, the only way I can really do it is I have to be in some type of costume because his mother was a staunch Jehovah's Witness at that convention. So he said, I want to come with you. He's going to help me with some of the technical stuff. He says, but I have to be in a costume. So I said, we'll put you in a hazmat suit. So I got a hazmat suit, and I had him wearing a big, a gas mask and a hat. You really couldn't tell who it was.
Right.
So the police came up, and they said, "Hey, Mr. Farron, you can't have that guy dressed up in a hazmat suit." I said, "Well, wait a minute." I said, "You don't totally get it. If he's seen, his mother will shun him." So the cop totally agreed with it. He says, well, fine, he can keep the hazmat suit on. He says, but it's scaring some of the witnesses. I know it's the very opposite of what you're doing, Seth, and I'm going to take a more loving approach myself because I think a loving approach is perhaps the way to go. Yeah.
Both ways have their benefits. Both ways, doing that, pointing out, because it does still make an impact. I'm just saying, as an active witness, I'm more likely to ignore the negative signs. If somebody was holding up a smile sign, I'm bold enough, I would have walked over and said, thank you for, what, that was kind, that was nice. And it made my mind think, wow, he's an XJW, but he was nice. And it would have stuck with me a little more. So it's something priceless. And so I do have to throw something else in there. When my wife and I, when we did separate, it wasn't just due to religious stuff. It wasn't just due to that. There were other things because of the narcissism and things holding on. But coming back together was special because we got to bond over the ex-witness community. We got the bond together on learning our new way. We didn't know where to go. Again, we did not know where to go. So with us, when we did separate, it was hard on me. It was really hard on me because then I didn't even have my wife. And so when we started leaving, it was very, 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 but knowing that there was support out there would have helped me so much. It would have helped my wife. It would have helped me. It would have helped so many ones who leave, because I had the intention on leaving and returning. You know, if I return, they'll take me back. They'll love me. Because I needed that association. So that's what we're also trying to prevent, is people from who left. You have support who are thinking about leaving. You have don't go back. Don't go back to Watchtower and listen to them. Don't go back. So that's why we're leaving so loudly.
I'll tell you, Seth, you're making a big difference in the ex-witness world, and we're all looking forward to more protests you're going to do and being in your YouTube channel and making a big difference in helping people as well. Well, I want to thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you so much for having me, Rick.
Thank you, Seth. And we'll get you back on with us, and we'll keep spreading the word for you and keep standing tall. Don't you ever give in, or up or out, okay? Just keep
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Seth, and say goodnight to Felicia and your little son. He's a darling. Thank you.
Thank you
very
so much.
Well, there you go. That's our good friend Seth. He's out of Missouri, and he's a former Jehovah's Witness. That's him right there. We'll exit the screen, and we'll get me up here. Excellent. All right, there he goes. Well, anyways, friends, I wanted to give you an idea what's going on. Now, in 2 weeks, no, it won't be in 2 weeks, about a month from now, we have a brand new program starting here on the 6 screens. I think it's going to be a very successful program. Now, the program is called Judicial Hearing. So what we're doing is I'm going to play an elder, and Tommy, we all know Tommy from, he was at the convention with us. Tommy is going to be the other elder. And what we're going to do is we're going to disfellowship the governing body. We're going to do 1 week. It's going to be a 2-week program. Every 2 weeks, we'll have it on. 1 week, we're going to disfellowship one governing body member. We're going to give it a little narrative. We're going to have a visiting elder come in as well. We'll have 3 elders deciding on why we are disfellowshipping this governing body member. So that's going to be an interesting program. The first governing body member we're going to disfellowship is going to be Garrett Loesch. And the reason why we picked Garrett first is just a few years ago, Garrett Loesch was in Italy, and he was telling the young people in Italy not to get an education. It wouldn't be in Jehovah's best interest. And now they're allowing education. Garrett Loesch will be disfellowshipped, and we're going to give you all the reasons for it coming up on the 6 screens. Now, sometimes we may not disfellowship one, but I'm letting you know ahead of time, Garrett is getting disfellowshipped. So we got each time we come on with the program, we'll have a visiting elder. And in the ex-witness world, even women, we're going to have some elderettes come on, so to speak. Barbara Anderson is going to be one of them that will also be able to sit down on the judicial hearing. So it's going to be an interesting program. We'll have the telephone phone lines open so people can call in and give their feelings as well on the disfellowshipping of these officials of the Watchtower. So looking forward to that program. Judicial hearing coming up in about a month. Well, 1 month from tonight, right here on the 6 Screens Telenetwork. Well, there'll be no 6 Screens Sunday tomorrow. It'll be the following Sunday, all goes well. But what we will do is we'll do our game tonight. We didn't do it last week. We didn't have the time, but we do have the time tonight. So we're going to do our trivia game. Now, in this trivia game, you have an opportunity to win some Watchtower publications that Jim Hill has sent to me We thank Jim for doing that. Nathan Natus is his name on JWN, and he's nice enough to send us books. Millions Now Living book. Also books concerning some of the early years of the Watchtower and how they've been involved with pyramidology and some of the things that were mentioned in the Golden Age magazine. So you can win a book. You have to go on the honor system. Let me just take a sip of iced tea here. Hold on 1 second. Excuse me, mouth gets kind of dry talking for 4 hours here. But anyways, what happens is you have to keep your own score now, okay? It's the honor system. You get a point for each question. When you get 5 points, you can get a book. You get 20 points. I'm sorry, not 20, 12. When you get 12 points, you can win $100. We have some people close to that already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the question, and then I want you people to pick a number at random, 1 to 100. And when I ask the question, don't answer it until I say go. When I say go, I want to hear numbers. I want to hear 11, 8, 7, 1. And it's easier for me to follow that. If everyone just spoke up at once, I don't hear a word anybody's saying. So use a number. So let's all get ready for that. Let's get ready for the first question tonight. Let's go over here and ask the question. We all know Maria Russell. Well, she was the wife of Charles Taze Russell. Now, was Maria Russell ever considered to be a faithful slave being used by Jehovah? True or false? Was Maria Russell ever considered to be a faithful slave member? Go. I heard 10.
Yes, it's Nadine. I would say yes. The answer is true.
It is true, Nadine. You're right. You got a point. So you must be getting pretty close. How many points you got?
I have 10 now.
All right, two more, and you get yourself $100. And I know you won it twice already. You could use the money, couldn't you?
Of course.
Everybody.
I'm going on a little trip soon.
So everybody can use the money. All right, so that was good. That was good. In fact, just to reiterate on that, originally, Pastor Russell and his wife, Maria, constituted the faithful and discreet slave. Russell broke away from his wife to become the one slave through whom it was asserted Jehovah's truth to be revealed. So he was the man that was going to reveal the truth about Jehovah and the Watchtower. All right. All right, let's go with this. As brought up in the transcripts, right in the old Watchtower publication, why was Maria Russell upset with her husband, and what was the name of the young girl that was interfering in their marriage? So you have to tell me why Maria was upset, and what was the name of the young girl that was interfering in their marriage? Go.
17. Ron, 17.
I heard 17 first. Go ahead, 17. I think that's a pasta, babe. Go ahead.
Yes, Roseball would be the name of the girl.
Yep.
And I believe Maria was upset because of the time she had to spend extra with her husband. Her husband was calling her my little wife. And they had done some making out and stuff. So they were being inappropriate. But Roseball, it's thought that she was underage, but she was one of those people that looked very, very young for her age.
Yes.
So in the situation when they adopted her from love, not on paper legally, but from love, and even when you do that, it's quite like incest, even though you might not be blood related when you take them on as a child.
Linda?
Yes.
This is Nadine. I heard she was 14. I heard she was 14 years old.
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard that she was very young too.
She was pretty young.
And then I've heard something figured out to where she wasn't. So, but that was through another channel, and I can't think of it right now. But you could be right, I could be right, we could be both wrong. I don't know. I don't know, but yes.
Hi, this is Girl. So your girl is in. Hi. So James in James Penton book, she was not a teenager. She was older than that. She just looked younger.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's her name, Ann? Carrie Ann? I think she does really good videos, and she's not doing them lately. Christy Ann, I think she did a video that kind of confirmed that too. But yeah, she did look 14. Yes, she did. and there's a part of me that thinks, and this is just my opinion, that part of the reason that she separated from her husband was partially to get the child away from him, you know, because with the place of authority that he held, you know, there would be a sense of obligation to be obedient.
All righty. Well, we don't know exactly how old she was, but she was interfering in the marriage. So you get a point. Oh, go ahead, Seth. I mean, Stephen. Go ahead.
Also, doing something with like his maid.
Yes.
She would go in the room and lock the room and be in there for a while. That's who I thought you were actually talking about was the maid.
No, we're talking about the girl that was interfering in Maria and Charles Taze Russell's marriage. So we get to the next question. Let's go to the next question. Linda, take a point. So anyways, in the transcript, I'm getting this transcript from an old Watchtower publication. So they asked when they went to court, because Maria and Russell went to court for what we call a divorce today. But like I said a couple of weeks ago, they didn't want to call it a divorce in the Watchtower. They don't like divorce. So they called it a separation from bed and breakfast. I mean, that's a crazy term. I never heard of that. But anyways, in the court transcript, they were really asking Maria, what was really what did you see? Did you see any of this shenanigans going on? So one evening, he spent the evening downstairs in the library. That's what Maria said. And then something happened after that. Can anyone tell me what happened after that? Go. Well, I'll tell you what happened. Good.
I think that was their office.
All right. So, Stephen, did you want to take a shot on what happened next? Be nice now.
I thought that he was locked up in the room with the maid.
All right. Well, here's I'm reading it from the transcript. One evening, that's Russell, spent the evening downstairs, and this is Maria testifying to the court. Her husband, Charles Taze, he spent the evening downstairs in our library. And then he went upstairs to the second floor, and in about 10 o'clock to my room. And I suppose that he was either in the library and he had retired. And then I went up there and I found that he was in either place. And I stepped out in the hall and I found out that he was in a nightrobe sitting beside Miss Ball's bed, and she was in bed. One other occasion, I found him going in there, and I found she called him and said that she wasn't well and wanted him in. And I objected to this. I mean, if you were a wife, you'd object to that too, right? And I said that it was highly improper. And I said, we have people about the house, and what kind of name will be attached to this house if you do that sort of thing? He got angry. It's right in the transcript. Right in the transcript. Isn't that something, huh? Yeah. All right, let's go to this. All right. We did this question before. I'm not going to ask it again. But let's go with this. All right. Rutherford loved Canadian whiskey, and he did not like prohibition. As a matter of fact, he thought it should be done away with because he loved drinking, right? So tell me, how did Judge Rutherford get his whiskey during the probation? Does anyone have the answer to that? Go. 17. Linda, 17. She's in there. Go ahead, Linda.
So he had it brought down from Canada from his followers. They'd go pick it up for him, I believe, from Canada.
Yes, from Canada. But I mean, did they travel by horse and buggy? Did they travel by a motor vehicle?
I don't know. I'm sorry. So that's what you mean by how? Yeah.
No, I'm gonna give it to you. And I'm gonna give it to Linda anyways. Yeah, I'll give you. Take the point, Linda. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. All right. Here we go. All right. As many Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, I'm not going to use the name Jehovah's Witness. Just go with this. As many as the members split from the religion as a result of Judge Rutherford's takeover in policy. Well, they weren't known as Jehovah's Witnesses at that time, but when Rutherford came in, a bunch of the Bible school students left. Now, this is a multiple choice. How many Bible students left when Rutherford came into office? I'll give you multiple choice. Was it 10%? Was it 50%? Was it 75%? In other words, they didn't like Rutherford. They liked Russell. What percentage? Let me say go first. What was the percentage that left? Go.
7.
I heard a man first. I don't.
It was 1.
I think it was Zachary. Zachary, go ahead, take a shot at it.
I don't know, 50%.
No, I'm going to tell you how many it was, and you telling me it's percentage. I'll give you another shot at it. There were 250,000 Bible students that left.
75%.
Linda's got a 75. No, Linda got it. 75. Take a point, Linda. Take a point. That's good. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So we'll do one more. Here. Question would be, what is the Jehovah's Witness major prophecy depicting the time of the end? What Bible book and chapter? Go.
1.
Go ahead, that's Zach.
Matthew 24:14.
You got it. Yeah, you got it. The whole part of Matthew 24 dealing with what was going to happen, earthquakes and pestilence and all of that. You got it, Zach. That's good. Well, we're going to end it there, folks. I hate to do it. Going to get moving here tonight, but I want to thank everyone for coming into the 6 Screens tonight. We'll be back next week. We got some really good programming in the future. We got some new programs starting, as I mentioned earlier. But I want to thank everyone for coming in and spending their night with us here at the 6 Screens. I hope it all goes well for you. Keep waving that flag of victory. Don't you ever give in, up, or out. And the last one leaving the Watchtower, please turn off the new light. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much.